Zach, it's early as fuck, man.
Yeah,
It's early as fuck. I was up until like 2 a.m. last night
I was
watching.
about up that late too. They I don't know what happened, but like one of the producers, I think something happened to her on New Year's Eve, and so it was like Friday morning. They were like, "Yeah, she's now working from home," and I was like, "Okay," and I was already working from home, but they like wanted me to start work early because her computer stuff wasn't working at home right away. Um, and then the manager called me. He asked me to call him, which is never a good sign.
Yeah.
Like the middle of the day. He's like, "Can you call me when you get your chance?" I was like, "All right, what kind of fucking bullshit am I have to deal with now?" She's like, "Yeah, so she's gonna be working from home this whole weekend," and she's like the one. She's like the other weekend producer with me, and I was like, "Sweet, awesome." So now I have to, on top of doing my show, I have to booth her shows, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, look, I mean, she's a nice person. It's not her fault. I'm sure like something happened to her that like was outside of her control or something like that. But it's just like, come on, man. Now that this is the way we're gonna start with 2021 with all this bullshit already.
I'm not sure about you man, or Orlando, but here it was rainy, so rainy on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
It really wasn't, but it's starting to look that way now. Like it's this is like the crappiest looking morning we've had in like a really long time. Where just
Yeah.
like you just look outside and you're like, all right, it's gonna pour.
Yeah, exactly. It just and also like the last week, 2 weeks have been like super cold here, like for
Mhm.
Charleston, like 50s, and then all of a sudden it comes New Year's and it's like fucking 65.
Yeah, that was like yeah, it was like well, our Christmas was like unbearably well, not unbearably cold for me, but it was just weird. Apparently, our Christmas we were like we started off the morning with some places in like the 30s, and
Yeah.
all our meteorologists were like, "It hasn't been this cold since like the 70s," and I was like, "That would be to happen. The first Christmas I have in Florida would be like the coldest Christmas on record." But
Right. Well, so that being said, man,
yeah,
uh, we saw each other was Christmas.
it's
That's
true. Yeah.
that's what our last podcast. So what you been up to, man, since then? What'd you do?
Oh,
Was your New Year's anything?
no, New Year's wasn't too much. But been up to a couple things. So I read the first volume of Once and Future, just Once and Future King, right? I think so.
I think it's just Once in the Future. I think.
I think so. Um, it's good. I like it. I mean, it's got that. I feel like it's a similar vibe. I feel like there was another show that we talked about that had this, but I can't remember. But it's got that very much like supernatural type feel. You know, it's urban fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, myths and stuff like that taking place in the modern world. You've got your you've got some weird shit with like the Knights of the Round Table, like genealogy, like forcing kids to be like the embodiments of like knights and stuff like that, which is very strange. Um, but I'm enjoying it overall. I'm definitely interested in picking up like the next volume and seeing where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I mean, it's interesting because I was reading it and I just don't feel like because this series basically takes on the fact that like King Arthur is a villain, and I really have never, or at least I don't remember him ever being like pictured as a villain before, as like a warlord and like fearmonger and all this other type of stuff. Usually King Arthur, I mean, he's King Arthur. He's like the hero, the king among kings, the knight among knights, that kind of thing. And so like to see him as like a villainous role who's basically like a genocidal maniac for anybody that's not a Briton was kind of strange.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
welcome strange, but
I don't know enough about Arthurian stuff. I mean, I've read a bunch of stuff for school,
hmm
but I've seen the character portrayed like as like cocky,
yeah,
and then you have to learn from your cockiness,
hmm
kind of thing.
yeah,
But I've never seen him portrayed like as like an evil guy. And who know? I don't know. Again, I don't know enough about
yeah,
legend to be like, oh yeah, this is inaccurate or a weird take on it. I don't know enough.
yeah,
Um, yeah, when I was reading that first arc, cause I think what happened is that Kieran, the writer,
hmm
what was his last name? Kieran.
Can't remember. Hold on, let me
I
find.
keep wanting to say Kieran Gillen, but it's not Kieran. It's not Kieran. That's fucking Karen Gillen. But it's the same guy who wrote. Oh God, what is his name? The guy who wrote the freaking like British pop. Is it Mind the Gap? No, maybe
You're right. It is Kieran Gillen.
it's Kieran Gillen.
Yeah.
He he wrote. I think he wrote Mind the Gap. What else did he write? Mind the Gap. He wrote some other like British pop music thing. I can't remember what else he wrote.
I'm not sure.
He's
This
really
is the
like
first time I've really ever.
he wrote X Men for a while. I think I feel like he wrote
Okay.
X Men Blue or Red or Blue or Gold. I think he wrote X Men for a little bit. I know he wrote a music thing, but I can't remember what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
He did a real British comic book series with the artist was Jamie McClavely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like the guy's work
Yeah.
from what I've read. Just like thinking back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but reading this particular, I think what it was that was supposed to be a mini series, like just that
Okay.
first arc, like first 7 issues or something or 8 issues,
And then it became so popular that
and
it
then
like
yeah, it sold so much that they're like, we would be dumb to not
to
keep
not
it
do more.
ongoing. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Because I remember looking at the schedule when it was coming out initially and being like, "Oh shit, there's only 7 or 8. I gotta pick up the missing issues." And then all of a sudden, just said it was like 7 of 9 or whatever,
Yeah.
and then they just kept going. So I
It
have
makes sense
no
because I
idea
mean
what's
the
going
end
on
of
now.
this volume is like it's definitely a definitive like you could just end the story right here and like inference like the rest of like what he does from there.
Yeah,
It has a very clear like cutoff point. Like this could be the end of the story. So I definitely could see that being the case.
I haven't read it past this first story, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what's going on now or what if it's over now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I liked it. I like the art. It's very anime inspired art.
Yeah, it's I mean it was the thing that I recognized the first because I don't know him by name, but I recognize his art. Dan Mora, I like a lot of his art. I feel like he did a lot of stuff for New 52 because it seems like a very familiar art style to me. I looked it up when I was reading it, and now I can't remember what I looked up. I know he also did like Power Rangers, which I was like,
Okay.
okay, that makes sense because I really like the art in Power Rangers too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that was the. It looks like he did like some Buffy stuff too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay. That sounds familiar.
but yeah, I really like his art style a lot. I like the way he draws characters. Yeah, it definitely looks. It's definitely got that like anime inspired feel to it, which is weird because it's not like it doesn't. They don't look like manga characters. They look like anime characters, which is a weird distinction. But
No, it's the facial structures and the style. It's like very much like a
yeah,
Western inspired version of Japanimation.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I'll probably pick up the next volume um, in a bit. I'm not sure when because I wanted to read that, and then I was reading Gideon Falls, and I like that a lot too. So I'll probably keep going with both of those series.
Mm-hmm.
I also bought the first volume of well, the first 2 volumes. The second volume hasn't come in yet, so I reread the first volume because I know it's over, and so now I kind of want to catch up with it, which is Chainsaw Man, the manga.
Right.
Um, Still so fucking good, man. It's such a good manga.
I didn't love it from what I read. I thought the art was really good, and I thought
Yeah.
the concept was cool. But at least from I didn't get too deep into it, so I can't
hmm
comment beyond too much. But from when I was reading it, it felt like there was no overarching story.
Um, I remember I stopped reading just because I fell off of it. Not that I wasn't enjoying it, I just wasn't keeping up. But I think I got up to like chapter 30 or something like that. I know it's on its like part one is over now, and I think it went up to like 75 or 80 chapters or something like that. And he was
Mm.
like, "This is part one, bitches. Part two's coming out whenever."
Okay.
So that's why I kind of want to catch up on it. But it seemed like at that point there was more of an overarching
Hmm.
story. I mean, there's definitely like,
You should just
uh,
get the app. What do you should just get Shonen Jump app.
yeah, I probably should.
It's like
I
two
probably,
$2 a month, and you get all the chapters.
yeah. And I could keep up with Spy Family too,
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm
there
pretty sure
and
that's on, or
one.
that's on. Is Viz and Shonen Jump? That's not the same thing, is it?
I think Viz is the company that puts out Shonen Jump in America, but they have two different apps.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure Spy Family is on the Viz.
It's on the Shonen Jump app.
Okay.
I remember seeing it. I'm like 90% sure.
Okay.
But you can read One Piece because One Piece is about to hit 1,000 chapters tomorrow, so you can catch up.
I can catch up in a day.
By tomorrow, you can catch up. Well, it has to get scanlated, but obviously it gets so they get same day published with the app.
Right. Okay.
So, um, I have a new iPhone. I got the iPhone 12 Pro Max.
I've been trying to think about getting a new one because I've had this one for a couple of years now, and I feel like it's at that point where it's like Apple's throttling my battery life, which makes me
Yeah,
mad.
getting this phone took me. It was a pain in the fucking ass, man. Through
Yeah.
my carrier, it was a pain in the fucking ass because
Yeah.
I have a it's like a subsidiary of AT&T called FirstNet, which is all for first responders. So
Okay.
I have like an advanced cell service or whatever. But trying
Hmm.
to get the phone through them took me literally. I was on the phone with them for like 7 hours cumulatively trying to get this fucking phone. It was terrible
Jesus.
customer service. But my point is that I got the phone because I was like, okay, I want a big phone again. Because I usually get big phones. Last time I got iPhone, I had
Yeah.
a small phone. It's a pain in the ass to read books
It's
and
to
or
read anything on a
comics.
small phone is a pain in the ass.
So
Yeah.
I got it because I was like, okay, well, I have a big phone again. Now I can actively read Space Brothers or read, One Piece or something on it
Hmm.
because the screen size is a little bit better. It's still too small for
Yeah.
a good manga page or a good comic book page, but it's better than having the regular
Yeah. It's
screen
better
where
than
I can't
having.
see shit.
Yeah.
I was reading One Piece and he Oda draws so much dense stuff that like I'm
Yeah.
having to like pinch and zoom on single panels, and to me that's like that hurts. I have my eyes are terrible as it is, so I don't want to have
Yeah.
to deal with that.
I feel you. But yeah, I'll probably just get it. Yeah, because I do want to catch up. But there's definitely like an overarching story. There's definitely like, I think it's in like the next volume, so in like the next six chapters or whatnot, they introduce like there's like, you know, the whole concept of the world is devils come about by like people's fears, kind of like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Um, is that there are certain devils based on certain fears, and like the more people fear a certain thing, like the more powerful the devil is. And so it's like I know that they introduce, I think it's in like the next volume, is that like basically one of the most powerful devils is the gun devil. And so it's like I'm pretty sure that's kind of like the overarching thing. I definitely know that that starts the main character's journey because he basically figures out that like if he beats the gun devil, uh, Makima will like date him or something like that. I think it's something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the character is like, for anybody who doesn't know, Chainsaw Man is a guy that ends up getting possessed by a chainsaw devil and can turn into chainsaws. He's basically a homeless character before this, so he has like no needs outside of like basic necessities. And so like the first 5 chapters, he like realizes that he wants to touch boobs, and that becomes like an overarching thing for him because he's never like talked or touched a woman before. Um, so that's like kind of the thing about it. And so yeah, I think it was something like she told him like if he beats the gun devil, she'll like go on a date with him or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of
Maybe that's why I thought that there's no story.
maybe I know it starts off that simpler. It gets more complicated later on,
Yeah.
especially there. I think in chapter 30 or whatnot, you realize that there's like an anti-devil hunter agency.
That's cool.
Specifically, there's one girl that pops up that like is like a she's like an explosive devil or something like that. That was
Mm.
like some of like the craziest like 3 or 4 chapters when she pops up and she's just like fucking killing everybody left and right,
Yeah.
just like, explosions everywhere.
That's cool.
I want to catch back up to that because I really like her character a lot, and she has a relationship, friendship type of thing with Denji that ends up like growing him more as a character outside of like that basic touch boob mentality that he kind of has.
Yeah.
So that makes him more interesting as a character as well. I know that that definitely is like that was the part in the series that's like I fell off just because I wasn't keeping up with it. Um, but I remember I really liked that part of the series a lot just because it felt like it gave a little bit more depth to those
Right.
characters. So,
I get that.
um, but yeah, so I'm reading that. What else? Get this out of the way. I watched Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, me too.
Um, fuck, dude, this movie was boring.
Yeah, I
It's too
watched it.
long,
I
first
watched
of
it
all.
yesterday,
I watched it like a
and
week ago, but I also watched to give myself a refresher. I watched Red Letter Media's
yeah,
thing on yesterday.
yeah, I watched that too. I literally watched it right after I finished Wonder Woman. It was right when they posted that, so it was like
Yeah,
perfect, literally perfect timing.
yeah.
But yeah, 2.5 hours long,
It's so
unnecessary.
so long, and yeah, I mean, it's basically what they talked about, where it's just like, and I was talking about even before I watched the video, I was talking about it with one of my coworkers, because he hadn't watched it yet, but I was just like, look, man, this movie's too fucking long, dude.
It's too
It's
long.
like 45 minutes too long. Like this definitely could have been under 2 hours.
This movie could have
And then
been
there was
an hour
that
and a half.
article. What?
It could have been an hour and a half.
Oh, for sure. Well, it's like, I mean, it's definitely what Red Letter RLM was talking about, where it's like, it. First of all, you didn't need two villains. You definitely
Yeah,
could have got rid of one of them. Um, but also, there's just so much shit where it just feels like it drags on forever. And unlike David Lynch stuff, which I'll get to later, it feels like it drags on without purpose.
yeah,
Like there's no like inherent like artistry behind it. It's just dragging on because she doesn't know how to fucking end a scene, which
yeah.
is weird coming off of the first Wonder Woman, where I felt like that was a really solid movie, and I really liked the direction of it and the way it looked and all that stuff. But this movie is just like
It's
so painful, boring.
I watched a review of it a week ago on
Hmm.
YouTube. So before I had no context for the movie. I just wanted to watch this
Yeah,
guy's review. Um, I think it was Critical Drinker. I think is who it was,
probably yeah,
and it was either a week ago or like almost a week ago, or whatever. I saw the review before I saw the movie,
yeah.
and he was breaking it down. I was like, okay, plot line sounds dumb, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then he made a point in the review that where he said that like it and they mentioned the RLM review as well, but the idea that Bruce had to like do all this like sleuthing to find her, and then but yet
Yeah,
she's just running around Washington D.C. like doesn't change her name, is going through the
no.
mall wearing the same outfit, the bright red and blue and gold outfit. It's like you're not doing anything. What is going on?
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like RLM talked about. It's like DC, the DCEU, if it even is an EU anymore, is like in a very strange place because it just feels like they're. It feels like they're. It just doesn't have a consistent through line like Marvel has. It feels like
Yeah,
they don't have an architect, which are like if that's what they're going for, and they're just making a bunch of like non interconnected stories. That's fine. But then it's weird that you have the Justice League movie that like tried to connect all these, but then you have the Wonder Woman movie that comes out that's like, and fuck all that shit that he said in that movie. This is what actually happened, which is
yeah.
also strange.
Well, my
Um,
big issue with the movie, besides it being an hour too long,
yeah,
is that just tonally the second intro scene, like the mall scene, was
I
like
like that scene.
was trying to be Shazam.
Yeah, well, it was felt like it was trying to be like a fun
Like it was,
action movie intro
but
to the
but
character,
by the
which
time
I
you
would have
get to
preferred if they
the
just started with that
but by the
instead
time
of
you
like
but
that weird Themyscira obstacle
you
course
get to the
bullshit.
middle of the movie and it's no longer trying to be Shazam. It's trying to be like this
Yeah,
other movie, and it's so confusing in terms of what they were trying to do.
yeah, tonally it's very
It,
confusing.
and and to me, it shows that Diana begins in a place, it ends at the same place. Like there's no progression.
No, yeah, there's no character progression for her. Well, like the whole start of the movie is like she learns the lesson in the movie when she's a kid, and then her character progression is she remembers the lesson she learned as a kid. That's
Yeah,
her whole
but
progression as.
even then, that lesson is so vague that it doesn't even really matter. Like,
Well, it's like it was the other thing I was talking to the guy about, which is like this movie ends with talk no jutsu, and I fucking hate that shit.
yeah.
I was talking to the guy, and I was like, if I wanted to watch talk no jutsu, I would watch Naruto
Also,
because
how does spoiler alert for Wonder Woman?
yeah.
How does her using her lasso on the guy's leg mean that she can speak to the world? That doesn't make sense.
Well, her power structure doesn't make sense in this movie because also she can like fly,
Yeah,
but she really can't. She like just glides longer, I guess. But also she can like lasso things that are unintangible. She can like lasso clouds and lasso lightning, which doesn't make sense.
And we'll talk about that
Um,
terrible fight scene with Cheetah.
oh, I was talking to the. I was saying. I was thinking the whole time. I was just like, this looks like Cats. Like she's fighting somebody from
It looks
Cats.
like Cats. The fight
And I
scene
don't
is
understand why Cats came out a year before this and they didn't
yeah.
learn. Hey, we shouldn't have somebody look like a cat.
The fight scene is terribly choreographed and
Even better if she just
boring.
stayed in that first outfit that she
Yeah,
has in the White House. Like that was a
it's
better costume for her.
such a boring fight. And
Yeah.
then what kills me about the armor is that like they show it in the very first scene, the very first opening scene. It's
Yeah.
really not mentioned in terms of why it matters. And then all
It
of a
just makes
sudden,
sense, yeah, why she needs to wear it.
and then they find it in the and they just like yeah, it's in the closet.
I have it wrapped up in this diaper bag over here.
I told I was when we were watching the movie. I told my girlfriend I was like, "Oh, do you think she's gonna come back to the island and the statue is actually the armor, and she's gonna break the statue and take the armor off because she needs it for power?"
Yeah.
Like to me, that like makes sense because like okay, here's this most famous armor. We gotta keep it here in this obstacle course ceremony section, and
Hmm.
it's gonna be where we keep safekeeping because in the first movie that's where we kept the sword at, where we kept the gauntlets at, the last whatever the fuck. But
Also, she
no,
doesn't
we
have a sword or a shield in this movie,
well,
which is fucking
well,
bullshit.
because she fights human beings and she doesn't want to kill them because it's not World
She
War
fought
One.
human beings in the
Well,
first movie.
it's war.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, you can brush it off because we're fighting Germans in World War One. You can brush it off. You can't brush off fighting
Yeah.
American citizens and you're using a sword. You
Should
can't
have used that sword against Cheetah.
you
Mm.
can't Rioni Kenshin it and have it like be a blunt edge. You know, it's my review of it was 4 out of 10.
Dude, it's less than that for me. It's like a two. I mean,
I
it's
wouldn't
so
give it a
boring. I
two.
paused it like multiple times because I just got to the point where it's just like so bored. And also, all the Steve Trevor shit was like super boring and pointless to me.
See,
Like,
I'm the opposite. I think the Steve Trevor stuff was the best part of the movie, but for a pointless reason. Like the reason made no
yeah,
sense,
the
but
reason is pointless.
the scenes of him alone, he was the best part of the movie, the acting. Like
I mean,
Chris,
my favorite part of the movie is that opening scene in the mall, and then after that, I was just like, I don't care anymore. I love the campy shit.
I think all the Steve Trevor stuff was well acted and it was funny,
Yeah, I mean, Chris Pine's
but
fine. I just didn't
the
care about their relationship anymore because I was. I mean, at that point, it's like, okay, Wishmaster powers, Monkey's Paw. She's definitely going to have to get rid of Steve Trevor. He's
Mhm.
definitely not going to stay in this movie. So at
Well
that point,
that
I was just
to
like,
me
okay, I don't
the
know.
rules of their own. You know me. I mentioned this on the podcast 1,000 times. I will buy in to your universe
Yeah,
regardless of what the rule set is, as long as you present to me your rules and you play
yeah,
by your own rules. In this movie, there's no reason where he has to be inhabiting this person's body
yeah.
because
It's like
other
Jay and Mike
other
talked about. There's
things
no reason that it shouldn't just be like he's just back.
no, other things in the movie just appear. Like
Yeah,
the wall just appears. So why
yeah. It
can't
doesn't
Steve
make any
Trevor
sense
just
that he's the
appear?
one thing that like doesn't he has to inhabit somebody else. That makes
No,
no sense.
the one British lady wishes that all Irish people are gone, and the cops instantly appear to
And
deport them.
and ice appears and
Yeah, so why
that's
couldn't Steve Trevor just appear? So the rules of
yeah,
their own magic system don't make sense. So
yeah.
when you don't even do that, it's a piss poor system. Because it's just as powerful to have her say goodbye the way she did, and
Yeah.
he just slowly Infinity Wars away. You can still just have that scene be
That was
what
also
you
the weird
want.
part that yeah, it just like happens off camera, which is very strange.
Yeah,
Like I get it, like she doesn't want to look back, but we should have at least like cut to a shot of him, like not her looking at him,
well,
but just like
honestly, it would have been more powerful for the character if she stayed there as he vanished because it would be a visual representation of her moving on
yeah,
versus her not wanting to look at it and just crying. That's
yeah,
not moving on. That's like you running away from it and just letting it
yeah.
happen. But like if you sat
It
there
also gives
with
less
him,
power to her whole like, oh yeah, I had to renounce my wish. I'm so strong, and I'm like, yeah, you didn't really like. I don't know. She didn't really face the consequences of like renouncing her wish. She kind of just like, it's blocked out of my memory now.
yeah, and I don't understand. I see people on Facebook or Reddit or like Instagram who are talking about it, like people I follow or my friends with, who are
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, this movie's really good. Don't listen to critics." And I'm like, "No, it's not
It's
good.
not.
It's not
It's not
good.
that
You
good.
just don't
Yeah.
have a film taste for a story. Like it's fine." Like I like Jean Claude Van Damme movies. Those aren't not good movies. It's okay, right? But like to critically talk about this movie as though it's for a good sequel, because the
It's
first
not even, yeah, it's not even a good sequel.
because like the first movie wasn't great. The first movie to me was a watered down Captain
I
America
like the
First
first
Avenger.
one.
It's literally Captain America First Avenger. I watched that movie
Well,
yesterday as
yeah.
well. And it's not as good, but the first movie was better than this.
Mm,
This movie just didn't
yeah.
have anything. It had no stakes. It had no reason. It had no purpose to be a movie.
Yeah, and all of it, I don't know, it just felt like it felt very aimless. It didn't really feel like, I don't know. It just didn't feel like there was like a cohesive, it just didn't feel like there was, I guess, plot. Yeah.
There's no point.
Just,
It
there's not a
was no point.
cohesive plot or like a point, yeah, point to like anything that's happening.
It was Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and there was no purpose. You
Guardians of the
had
Galaxy 2 was better than this.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had no purpose though. That's my point. There was irrelevant to the overall expanded universe story. It was a consolidated story just for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they were trying in a
Oh, you
movie
mean no purpose in like the rest of the
in
universe?
the
I was
rest of
like,
the
that
universe.
movie had
There was no
purpose.
purpose. It was literally no purpose. The story affects just the movie. Outside of the story, nothing matters, and that's perfectly fine. But when you're trying to create a universe tale, and Wonder Woman 1 is adding to the lore of the overall DCU, you need to be adding something to the lore of the next movie, except for the fact that if flash forward to Avengers or Justice League times, that Kristen Wiig is gonna be old as shit. That's the only
Yeah,
thing that makes sense. She's already 40 in this movie, so she's going to be fucking 80 or some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like
something like that.
she's
Yeah,
going to be 60 years old in the future time. So what do you think? Like what's the point? You know,
I don't know.
it's was a really poorly crafted insertion into the DCU that they're trying to apparently trying to build. It just didn't make sense.
I just don't even know if they're trying to build it anymore. I really don't know. After like Joker and this and Shazam, I don't know. Just really doesn't know. It doesn't feel like they're trying to like actually build something. It feels like they're just slapping a bunch of stuff that has DC superheroes in them. It
Which
doesn't feel
which
like
I'm
there. It doesn't
fine
feel like
with.
there's a. I mean, I'm fine with that too. It just doesn't. I don't think they're trying to make a cohesive, like, overarching universe plot or anything like
Like
that.
I'm fine with that, but you have to make good movies.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
yeah, for sure.
you can't like. There's a reason why I can just watch Doctor Strange and be okay with it because it's not a good movie. I can
I
be
haven't watched it.
I can be okay with it because I know that it's just adding little bits to the next Avengers movie. Like
Yeah.
I can be okay with it being not great, you know. But when it's a standalone movie, like Guardians 2, where I'm like, this serves no purpose. I'm gonna hate it more because there's no addition.
Hmm.
It's literally just subtracting 2 hours from my life. Like the movie is literally about Chris Pratt potentially being an astral character, and then it's like, nah, because that would have been a cool character to have to fight Thanos, right? But it's like, no, I'm watching Avengers being like, dude, you're
Yeah,
just
but then you
weak.
don't need it because then you get Captain Marvel. Don't you know?
I understand that, but
You get the strongest female that ever
well,
exists.
no,
So,
it's the strongest Avenger, Zach.
oh, I'm sorry.
It's the
That's right.
first. It's the first Avenger.
Because it's not Captain America. You might as well just rewrite that movie, and that's not Captain America: The First Avenger anymore. Because Carol Danvers was the first.
She's the first Avenger. She's the first Avenger. You know, even though titles of their own movies
Why does
dictate.
everyone forget that shit? That Marvel just like fucking whitewashed that all shit. Like Captain America's not the first Avenger anymore. Fuck that
Well,
shit.
because the first Avenger has more weight when it's a vagina.
Well, I don't know about that. I feel like vagina's very light, but
And I guess technically you could say that she worked for Shield, so Avengers were a Shield thing. I guess you could say that, right?
didn't didn't Cap?
No,
Oh, I guess Shield wasn't created
she wasn't
back then.
created yet. Yeah, he worked for like the
And it's
army.
all those characters become Shield, so I guess technically
Yeah,
he's Shield.
I mean, if you want to go by technical, but
He like helps found Shield, I would
Carol
say.
Danvers literally worked for Shield, so and I think she was the first person that Stan Jackson put in his little file book. But still, the point stands that Captain
Yes.
America is the he is the captain.
Yeah.
You know. So what else you been doing, dude?
Let's see. Okay, the last thing that I did, this took up most of my week, and I didn't finish it. because this second season has been kind of a slog. Although I've gotten further through it than I have through any of my other rewatches before.
Okay.
Um, but also on Red Letter Media. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I'm inspired to watch or like from videos and stuff that I watch. And they did Jay and the Wizard did a video on Twin Peaks: The Return. Um, and so this inspired me for the fourth or fifth time to try to watch Twin Peaks. The first season I can always watch because the first season's fantastic at Twin Peaks. I love it so much. I love all the characters. I like thoroughgoing the through storyline of it. And you mean 8 episodes is like it's pretty quick, tight to the punch. And season one ends up with a great point, and then the start of season two is pretty good too. Um, but I'm about halfway through season two. This is the farthest I've ever made it into season two because I usually get bored halfway through. I did also get bored halfway through this, but I decided to plug through it because I want to finally get to the return, which I will get to once I finish season two, and probably Firewalk because I feel like I probably have to watch that before, or at least the missing pieces. I don't know, but I'm watching Twin Peaks. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I just like those characters. I like David Lynch's style, especially in like the style of like TV. I think that um, what him and Mark Frost created with like these characters and this overarching mystery and like the use of like current mythology and like magic and like that kind of thing and like plugging it into like a small rural town and like seeing like how does an FBI man deal with like the spiritual and philosophical battles of like evil itself
Mm-hmm.
is super interesting and compelling. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you ever watched Twin Peaks?
I've seen the first like 2 episodes,
Okay.
and then I immediately got bored.
Mm.
And
I think the first season's really, really good.
I
It's
I
the second season that I usually have problems with.
I it might not even be the show, but it probably is the show because I don't like David Lynch. But
Mm.
it's more. I think it was more so timing, which is that I started trying to watch it when I was already watching X Files,
Mm.
and I'm like, I already have the G Man doing supernatural
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, I have the best G.
Speaking of which, David Duchovny just showed up in the show, and
Right.
he's a cross-dressing woman, so that was strange.
I'm
Uh,
like, I already have the two best G Men
yeah.
to do this this whole thing. Like Cooper's cool and all, and I like that. I like Kyle McLaughlin, but
Yeah.
um, he's no Fox Mulder. He's no spooky. He's no spooky Mulder, whatever the fuck his name is. He's no super attractive ass Doctor Scully. You know what I mean? Um, and obviously they're obviously very two different shows, like style of
Hmm.
shows. They're very different, obviously. Um,
Hmm.
it makes me want to wish that X Files was filmed the way that not filmed the way, but told like if you took all the lore episodes because X Files is split into lore episodes and like this Monster of the Week episodes.
Yeah.
If you just made the show lore episodes, it would be like Twin Peaks but with aliens,
Yeah.
and I'd be all about that show.
Hmm.
Um, but with Twin Peaks, I just never cared enough because I started watching it. I thought the first episode was cool, and then I read that he did the 2 seasons and you have to watch Firewalk with me, and I'm like, I don't really feel like doing this, so I just never got back to it.
Yeah.
And then obviously you don't have an answer really. You have the Ava kind of ending where you're like, there's stuff there, there's ending there with Firewalk, but then also he comes back for the third season. You're like, so did he end it or not? Like I don't know. Like did season two end? Did the movie end the show, or did he end it the way that the studio told him to because he didn't have money, or they
Well,
canceled it, or what?
well, it's they talk about that when because Jay and the Wizard also did a review of Firewalk with me, and they talk a little bit about that in that too, where it was basically like he did season one, and season one was like super popular and whatnot, and he was fine with like keeping on doing it, and then the studio basically pressured him to like you need to solve the mystery, which is also super fucked up because you don't ask any other mystery show. Like I don't remember the studio executives telling Lost that they need to solve the mysteries of the island in like 2 seasons. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking bullshit. But so they basically like forced him to be like, okay, you have to reveal who the killer is, and he was like, "Fuck this." So he directed like the first episode of season two, And then he directed the episode where they reveal who killed Laura Palmer in the show, which is like 7 episodes into the second season. And then he really was kind of like hands off for the rest of the season because he was just so like disgusted with the studio execs that like forced him to do this when he didn't really want to do it. Which I
Mm-hmm.
totally get that, where it's like you know you have like an overarching plan for the show, um, and they're basically like forcing you to change your entire outlook for like and the premise of the show, because I mean the whole premise of the show is based on who killed Laura Palmer, and then in
Mm-hmm.
like the and then in the next like 10 episodes of season 2, you have the entire completion of that story,
Yep.
like in like by episode 10, because I'm on episode 12 now of season 2, I think. By the 10th episode, they know who killed Laura Palmer. They captured him. That person is dead. And so now it's like it gets to the point where it's like, okay, what is the point of the show now? It just feels
Mm-hmm.
like it's like studio meddling at its worst, but it was like TV meddling, TV
Yeah.
exec meddling. So I get where he's at with that. But then basically like so that happened, and then he ended up finishing the very last episode of season 2,
Mm-hmm.
which was basically all of like the lore stuff, like expanding the universe a lot more with like the Black Lodge and those characters and whatnot. Was like the very last episode of season 2. Um, so he came back to do that, and then he did Firewalk with Me, which I think came out a year or two after the ending of season 2. Um, which also by the end of season 2, because the show was like so aimless and the main plot had been solved, like really not a lot of people were watching it, so they basically like canceled the show
Mm-hmm.
because the ratings went down so much. Um, and then he did Firewalk with Me, which kind of like told the story through Laura Palmer's perspective, like how she got killed, and also expanded a little more on like the characters in the Black Lodge and the spiritual beings and whatnot, and like Bob as a character and like how he like fits into this world. And then the return is basically like it's all just like after since Laura Palmer's death has been like solved, it's all just like especially the return is like all just expanding on like the magical aspect of like the Black Lodge and like the spiritual characters of like Mike
Mm-hmm.
and Bob and like the essence of like the evils of humanity and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll watch X Files again. That kills me because the idea, like, so did you ever watch Hell on Wheels?
Mm-mm.
So Hell on
I wanted to
Wheels,
watch it, but I haven't.
yeah. For those of you who don't know, it was an AMC post Civil War
Mhm.
western. And the main guy looked like a motherfucking cowboy. Like he looked
Yeah.
like good as a cowboy. And the Common was in it. It's about the railroad and about
Mhm.
how this ex Confederate soldier is hired on to be like the I don't want to call him foreman, whatever he like railroad guy to like, and the enforcer for the railroad, or whatever, as it
Okay.
pushes along to California, right? And he does that because he came home from the war and his family was murdered,
Okay.
right? And he's trying to find like the Union soldiers who or whoever did it, and he thinks they're on the railroad, or he's gonna help him find them. So it's a way for him to get across the country or whatever.
Okay.
And they solve that mystery by the end of the first season. And I was like, where else? What else? I don't fucking care about railroads. Like this,
Yeah. What's the thrust of the
like
story
that.
after that?
They have random ass like season villains, you know. Like, and that's fine. And the show was ended up being it's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
you could have pulled that for like it was like 5 6 seasons. You could have pulled that shit to 5 6 seasons, or at least 3 seasons. You could have made that like the
You could
through
have made it
line
more than one
story,
season. Yeah.
or you could have pulled it to where the because I can't remember how it ended, but you can pull it to where like I know for season 2 3 and 4 at least the villains don't have any connection to that particular storyline.
Mm-hmm.
You could have been like you could have had it be like you know a Kill Bill type situation where there's like multiple
Mm-hmm.
people who are in regards to that, but that's not what they did. So
Yeah.
and then also the climactic ending where he ends up getting his revenge was like not good. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was like not a really. I was expecting like a really brutal scene. Also, I just think that revenge scenes should be like super fucking brutal. Like I don't think that they should be half-assed. They should be like like if you have any sort of like if it's on TV and you have like constraints, I
Hmm.
think you should save your entire season's worth of blood and guts and gore and brutalness for that one scene.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
and they never do that, and it always makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of how it was with Hell on Wheels, where it was kind of like a letdown. Um, and it sounds like that's kind of what this is.
Um, I don't know. I mean, it's not like from that aspect. It's not like there's anything like that is like super brutal throughout the entire show, but like especially when David Lynch is directing, like
Not even not the
he
brutal,
doesn't like sugarcoat the
it's
violence.
not
I
the
mean,
brutal
it's
stuff.
like,
I'm talking about the fact that they solved the mystery before the
oh
season's
yeah, yeah, for
over.
sure.
Because the part to me that sounds cool about Twin Peaks is what's his first name? It's Cooper is his last name, right?
Cooper, Dale Cooper.
It's Cooper doing investigative supernatural. That to me is the
Yeah.
cool part.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
That's like the most compelling part of the whole show. Yeah.
if they solve the mystery at episode 10 and it's Dunzo,
Yeah, it's like 18. All overall, there's like 29 episodes, I think, or something like
so
that. And it's
from
yeah, like by episode like 18, out of like, or no, yeah, like episode like 18 out of like 29 or whatever, the mystery's solved.
and then you have a movie and you have another show
Yeah.
of not him doing what I think is cool. And I'm not saying that it's gonna be bad, but like
Mhm.
it's the that's what drew me to the show in general was like him investigating this girl in the milk box or the milk
Yeah.
carton. That was what's cool. That's what made me want to watch the show.
Hmm.
Because it was again, it was an X Files kind of style where like it's like
Yeah.
Fox doing what Fox is trying to find his sister, and that's what this kind of remind me of.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think I'll ever watch it honestly. I think I went this long without seeing it, and I don't think I've missed anything from the zeitgeist of pop culture. But I want to believe patch on my jacket, so I clearly chose which FBI
Yeah.
agent I
Yeah, and
support.
I mean, as far as like the cultural zeitgeist, I mean, if you don't really care about David Lynch or like what David Lynch does, then yeah, I mean, I don't think it really matters if you watch the show or not, because it's really like, especially The Return,
Yeah,
which, takes place 25 years later. I mean, that's basically just like David Lynch being David Lynch for like 18 hours.
yeah,
Um, which I like that. I mean, I think some of the more interesting, compelling stuff of the show, besides like Dale Cooper, you have the interesting cast of characters in the town, which I enjoy. Everybody has like distinct personalities, which feels nice.
mm,
Some of their personalities are kind of like bleh, and you, especially in the second season, like some of the ideas in writing is just like what the fuck. Like you can tell like nobody of like talent is involved in like making decisions at one point, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like
right.
one of the characters like somehow gets like amnesia and is as like a 40-year-old woman thinks she's a high schooler and is like
Mm,
enrolled in high school, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like what the fuck is this?
yeah,
Like this isn't funny quirky, it's not like interesting quirky, it's just like why are we doing this?
yeah, I get that. Dang.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the more compelling stuff is especially when David Lynch is involved and it gets into more of the like, because especially when he's involved, like that's when you get into the more esoteric, like magical, supernatural type of stuff. I think that's
Hmm.
definitely where a lot more of that like mythology is explored. Um, and so I think that's some of the more interesting and compelling stuff for the show for me. Um,
Right.
and really, it's at this point, it's like I'm just gonna get through season two to the last episode of season two because I know that that's a really good episode and I can't wait to see where that goes. And then there's interesting concepts and stuff in Firewalk with Me. Um, and then I just want to get to the return because especially it's like hearing Jay and the Wizard talking about it, and then I know Henry and Marcus have talked about it on Les podcasts on the left. It's just like as far as like magical thinking and like magical mythology and like the current day, it's like as close as we're gonna get with like David Bowie stuff. It's just like modern day magical myths.
Uh huh.
Um, and also David Bowie shows up in Firewalk with Me, so that's fun.
Right. I mean, that's a positive, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, David Bowie's cool. Um, you got anything else from this from the
No,
past
that
week?
was it. That was it for the most part.
Cool, man.
What you been checking out, Jason?
I got a good bit of things. I'll run through the smaller things.
Okay.
I finished Heaven's Gate, the HBO docuseries. It's
Okay.
pretty good. Um, I mean, obviously I know what happens already, but it was good to hear about. It was good to hear the people who left the group right before the
Mm.
suicides, and they had one of the guy who for the entire show. I was like, oh, he left because he came to the realization that it was just crazy, and like I was wrong completely. This dude, he was like, yeah, I left because I failed. Like I failed like within the cult. I failed.
Oh
Like I,
damn.
I did like I was getting like I was having like wet dreams, and then I started like masturbating. So I failed. I failed the rule set. So I needed to go leave so I can recalibrate. And I cut
And
to
then
like
everybody killed themselves.
and then you cut to interviews where like right after it happened or years or like a couple years after it happened, and like they point blank ask him like, would you have done it? And he's like, yes.
Damn.
Like he's like there's like shots of him like in the middle of the field being like, they went to the next level and I'm just still here, and I'm like, dude, you fucking dummy. And they have the other guy, they have the other guy who has the weird voice I talked about, and he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, that's stupid. Like, yeah, that's dumb as shit. Like that's, and they interview other people who also left who are like, yeah, they went to the next, like they still believe it,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, I don't get it, dude. I can't understand this. Um,
Mm.
but it's good. And then I watched another HBO Max documentary
Okay.
called Bee Gees: How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, which is about the Bee Gees.
What's it, dude? The Bee Gees? Damn.
I don't give a fuck about the Bee Gees, but I really like documentaries and I really like music documentaries or pop culture documentaries. So
Bee Gees are dope,
I
dude.
had to watch
That
it.
fucking disco sound.
It's funny. I had no idea that the Bee Gees weren't always a disco band. Uh,
They were.
no,
I didn't know.
they started in 1968 and they
Um,
sounded like the Beatles, and they got popular for sounding like the Beatles or the
okay,
Zombies
they
or whoever
became
you
a
want to call
disco
them
band. Interesting.
because they lost fame
Mm.
and then they needed a new sound and like, yo, hey, I got your new sound here, and then they put the phone against them and they started doing disco.
Okay.
Um, so that it was a good documentary, it's really well made. Only one because they're all brothers. The whole band was three brothers.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's a set of twins, and then I think their older brother. I think only one's alive right now. So
Damn.
they have interviews with him modern day, and they use interviews with the other brothers from prior.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a fourth brother who was much younger, who was also a pop like disco singer, and
Mm-hmm.
he died first. So literally, like it's the opening documentary is the surviving brother Barry being like, "I'm the last one left.
Damn, dude.
My whole family's gone, but
It's a
me."
pretty heavy way to start off your
Yeah,
documentary.
it's pretty heavy. And they all moved to Miami because that's where they all moved to. So it's just like him in Miami. It's like fucking chilling.
Miami Beach, baby, living it up, man.
So it's a good documentary.
Okay.
I finally finished The Right Stuff season 1 on Disney Plus.
I hadn't even started that. I
Um,
found out this week that I don't have Disney Plus anymore, so
oh,
I have to re-up that subscription because I was getting it
right.
through my parents with the Verizon deal.
Oh yeah,
And then my mom was like, "It's not free anymore. We're not doing this." And I was like, "That's fair."
yeah. I need to see about mine too because I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I think maybe I used it yesterday, so who knows?
Yeah.
But The Right Stuff, it it wasn't great.
It wasn't?
It's really great in the fact that they show a lot of the personal lives of the
Mm-hmm.
people. Like it was more about that than the actual programs, and
Oh,
that to
okay.
me is the downside. Like that there was
Yeah, I would want it more with the program for sure.
with the movie. I went back and watched the movie before I finished this just by chance, and I've read the book, and
Mm-hmm.
those are so much better. There's so they don't even talk about what the right stuff is, like what the term is supposed to mean, like what a pilot has the right stuff, like
Yeah.
whatever. And
He's got the juice.
the show is all about interpersonal relationships with the astronauts and their families, which is a good thing to have to learn about the
Mm.
people, but it barely touches on the
They
astronaut shit
sacrifice the program stuff in favor of the interpersonal stuff.
to make it a drama. And like
Yeah.
that's cool, but I want to know about the rocket stuff. Like that's what I want to
Why
know
is it a
about.
drama? I thought it was done by National
It
Geographic. Should
it
it be more
is.
like bum, 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 fact, fact, fact?
It
Why we
it,
need drama and everything?
it kills me because there's so many scenes where it's like there's one of the pilots or one of the astronauts whose like wife is a pilot as well. I can't remember
Mhm.
his name. And they're they he cheated on her at some point, so they have a really strained relationship. And
Mhm.
she like, hey, this other female pilot who's famous wants you to go on TV or like whatever and say that we can be astronauts. So he's being interviewed on TV, and they ask him like, "What about women's being astronauts?" And he's like, "Oh well, if a chimp can do it, you know, ha 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 ha." And they all laugh, and so she leaves him again because of that comment. And I'm like, in real life or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like that's put that in there, and I understand that they really wanted to add this the feminist idea to it. And I'm
Mhm.
perfectly fine with that storyline being in there, but not when you're sacrificing actual flying,
Yeah.
like test craft flying. Like they don't have any shots of them. They have barely any simulation shots. They have barely any of them flying a plane. They have barely any actual testing to get in
None of like their
space.
training or anything like that.
It's very minimal. It is very minimal. There's more shots of them in the headquarters of NASA
Mm-hmm.
talking about like bullshit. And there's so
Mm-hmm.
many shots of them like at the hotel bar and like and them traveling around, which is what they did, travel around to go get money and stuff like that. They did do that, but they didn't cut that also with them like doing actual pilot stuff. And to me, that was
Yeah.
like pointless. Um, and also like the book opens up with this really great story because it's based on it's real. It's a real book. You know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
real life. It's about the real people who did it. By Tom Wolfe. And the opening scene in the book is literally like how these wives understand that their husbands can die anytime. And it goes through one wife who's like a young wife, like fresh married, and they hear the word of mouth that something happened across the base and they don't know who it is, and they're all calling each other to try to figure out if they heard anything yet, and like they're asking each other without asking each other. Like they're just like trying to like not like say like was it you or was it me or who did you hear?
Yeah.
They're just asking, hey, you hear what something happened, and it's like a really big long prologue. It ends with like the girl who's focusing it finding out that she is the widow
Mm-hmm.
now because the aircraft crashed or whatever. So like they don't have any of that heaviness in the show, and there in the book they explain the stats of like how many people died in like test craft versus like combat flight, and like it was like astronomical more, like so much
Yeah.
more people died in test flights, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't even have any of that weight or heftiness in the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's really more about people cheating on their wives.
That's boring.
Yeah, so to wipe my palate clean of that, I rewatched the HBO show From the Earth to the Moon, which is literally about the same time period, but infinitely better. And you know that's a 12 episode or 13 episode I think series
Okay.
that cuts from the first seven to Mercury missions or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Apollo missions. It's a really good docu show, not documentary, but it's a good show based on
Mm-hmm.
reality. Um, and then also to add to that, I watched Apollo again because I feel like
Gotcha.
I felt like doing it.
Yeah.
Um, then I watched Argo for again. It's
Hey, there you go.
great
Solid one.
movie. Wonder Woman, obviously. I watched Soul.
I didn't watch that,
It
obviously, because I don't have Disney Plus. So
it was
seemed like it'd be like an okay
it
movie.
was fine. It wasn't great.
It gave me, at least from the trailer, it basically looked like it was going to be like the same type of movie as like Inside Out.
It was very similar, directed by the same guy.
Yeah.
It's very similar, and I think I can see them saying that they're obviously there's the Pixar theory that everything's connected.
Right.
Like there's no way these two movies aren't connected. Like Soul would be the prequel, and then Inside Out is going to be the sequel
Okay.
because Soul takes place before birth.
Right.
Like
Because yeah,
you're
it's all about people like being born and like
it's like
their
it's like
souls.
the souls who are yet to be born, and
Yeah.
then they go to Earth to be born. And the whole premise is that this guy dies prematurely, and he's
Mhm.
trying to get back to his body so he can go be a jazz musician. Shouts out to Blue Giant the Bonga,
Yeah.
and he's always trying to get back, but he can't get back to Earth because he's dead, right? But there's a soul who hasn't been born yet, who's been around for like 2,000 years, and that's Tina Fey's character, and
Okay.
he's trying to get her to find there's like a you have like a little badge on your chest with like different like a little like merit badges, and the
Okay.
last one's called the spark, and you have to have the spark so you can go be born. And so they're
Okay.
trying to find um
Her
her
spark.
spark, whatever
Okay.
that is, right? So they eventually end up getting to Earth, and they're kind of floating around trying to figure it out. And it's really about it's about both their journeys in life, you know,
Hmm.
and it's fine.
Okay.
I think this is what happens when Pixar makes two movies a year now, is that they're both going to be less quality than
Oh yeah, they
prior.
did because they made Onward too, didn't they?
They're doing two movies a year now,
Yeah.
and because they have two different teams, and
Hmm.
they're not bad, but I think, and it's not even because I'm
Loses something. Yeah.
it's not even because I have like this nostalgia for old Pixar, because I don't really care about Pixar that much. I mean, I really don't. I
Care about Toy Story. That's about it.
Toy Story, and that's literally it. I mean,
Trying
I've
to think of their
seen
other movies. Toy Story,
Toy
Monsters
Story,
Inc. I like.
Bugs
Uh,
Life, Cars,
oh, Bugs
Wally,
Life. Cars is
Up,
boring to me. Finding Nemo is like
Finding
it's fun.
Nemo,
Um,
Incredibles.
oh, The Incredibles. Yeah, Incredibles is
I
great.
have only things I care about are Toy Story and Incredibles, and that's really it. And I've seen Monsters Inc. now, but I didn't see Monsters Inc. until last year. I didn't see
Monsters Inc.
Cars
is a
until
fun
last
movie.
year. You know, so these
And then
movies
they
that
made a sequel that was like entirely a sequel prequel that was like entirely
yeah,
unnecessary.
I've seen that too. I saw that one first actually. Um,
Why?
I just saw it first.
Uh,
I don't have this big like place in my heart for Pixar.
hmm.
Um, but these movies, if I just feel like they're doing two a year and it's losing something.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what it is. Just the quality, just the emotional. Like I didn't care. It
Yeah.
ended. I was like, okay, that was a movie. I feel like I was
It
watching
feels
a
like
DreamWorks
I
movie.
feel it feels more so than like older Pixar movies. It feels like the newer ones, which I haven't seen. I really haven't seen any of their newer ones since like Inside Out. Maybe was like maybe like the last new Pixar movie. I don't even know like some of their besides Onward and
Good Dinosaur,
Soul. Yeah, I did not watch that.
Coco,
I did watch Coco.
Incredibles 2,
I watched Incredibles 2.
Finding
Okay, so
Dory,
maybe it's the what?
Finding Dory.
No, I didn't watch that one.
I think
I
that's
didn't
it.
even like Finding Nemo enough to care about a sequel.
Yeah, I can't stand
Uh,
Finding Nemo.
trying to think, but it was just like it feels like I think Coco was the last one that like made me feel like genuine emotions. But it feels like a lot of them, especially with like Inside Out, and I bet it's probably in this one too. It feels like they try to like force emotions upon you
Hmm.
that I like don't necessarily feel too much. Like Inside Out, it definitely. I mean, that movie's all about emotions, but it felt like they definitely were trying to like force you to feel a certain way, and I just
Yeah,
don't like when that happens in movies.
yeah. I can't think of an exact scene where that happens. I mean, they definitely have like these they're more emotional scenes in Soul, but like
Yeah.
they just didn't matter
Oh, Toy Story
enough.
4, which also had the same thing where it's like I don't know. I mean, it's also like
Have we talked about on the podcast when Toy Story 3 came out that there's the guy who edited it on YouTube to show his family? Did I show you? Have you seen this video?
no, I haven't seen that.
So whenever Toy Story 3 came out,
Yeah,
I guess on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever,
something like that.
his family never saw it like in theaters, but he did or something. So he was
Hmm.
showing his mom the movie, like they're watching it at home. But
Hmm.
before they put it in to play it, he took it in to like and like edited the movie and then reburned it to disc. So he edited it to where the movie ended when they were in the fire,
My
like
God,
in the
that's
furnace. So he
oh
filmed
my
it.
God,
He filmed the reaction to his mom's reaction. So like the furnace is happening and then just turns to black, and then the fucking guitar, the end comes up,
oh my
and
God,
she's like what?
that's so
It
emotionally scarring.
it was so
God,
fucking funny. Hold on, let me find it. I'll
Jesus.
send it to you on text.
No, I'd never heard of that
Toy
before.
Story
Well,
3. It's so fucking funny, dude. Ending prank, I guess maybe.
it's probably prank.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh my God.
7 years ago when it came out. It's so good. It's such a good bit. I'm so surprised that like it doesn't have. I mean, it has 7.7 million views. It's a lot of views, but
That's a lot of views.
still, It's so fucking funny. Whenever I think about like good pranks, that always pops to my mind because it's so fucking good. Um,
Oh my
but
god, no, I can't believe I never heard of that.
it's not Soul's not a it's not a must see.
Okay.
It really isn't. Neither was Onward. Like they weren't must see movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really feel like a drive to like see any of the either one of
Which is
those.
funny because to me, Pixar movies used to be like, oh, it's one Pixar a year, one Pixar every 2 years. Yeah, it's a must see movie. Now it's like
Yeah, they
we
used
get
to
two a
be more.
year.
They used to be like events, which I feel like is happening with like a lot of Disney stuff, where it's like they're not becoming events anymore. They're just becoming routine.
You know, real quick, speaking about Disney,
Mm.
I was at work talking to one of my old coworkers. He just stopped by to kind of just hang out for a little bit,
Hmm.
and we were talking about The Mandalorian. And I was like, "Yeah, I haven't seen any of it really. I saw the first like 2 episodes, and
Haven't seen
I
it
watched the
yet.
finale, obviously."
Mhm.
Um, he's like, "Yeah, you know," and he was saying that the sequel trilogy was all right. It was pretty good because he doesn't care about story, and I was like, "That's fine."
I mean, yeah, I guess if you don't
I was
care
like, "But
about
if you
like
just
anything that has
yeah,
any sort of stakes in this world, then yeah, I
like if you
guess it's
just want to
fine.
watch like like CG stuff on screen do shit,
If
I
you
mean
still want
that's
to watch
cool.
space battles where everything blows up, then yeah, I guess it was pretty good.
Not even that because there's barely any space battles. You know, it's like
There's
one,
space battles in the first one and the third one.
not the first
You
one.
basically skip the second one if you want space battles because
There's no
nothing happens.
space battles in the first one.
Yeah, there is. Well, I mean, it's
There's
like
the orbit battle where they're on the
it's
planet.
half space, half whatever.
They're in orbit. But
Well,
I was so amazed.
they're on the Starkiller base, and then you get the Death Star thing, but they're not in space. But it's
Yeah, I mean,
basically a Death Star battle.
if you're talking about dogfights though, there isn't really one.
Yeah. Well,
There's no
you got
trench
Tie
run or
Fighters
anything.
dogfighting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Get
it was
the terrible chase scene
so
in the
piss
Millennium
poor.
Falcon. Yeah.
It's not good. Um, the last things I wanted to talk about this, I want to say these for last because I wanted to breeze through the other ones. But so I texted you when I was watching it, but I watched Tenet.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a what a movie! What a movie Tenet is. Um,
Yeah.
we need to sign a petition or a letter of
Okay.
change your mindness or petition.org or whatever the fuck it is
Okay.
and send it to Christopher Nolan and tell him that his his opinion on audio mixing is just wrong.
Oh, it's garbage.
It's
Yeah.
just wrong. Like
Well, I think I talked about that the first time that I watched it, like over the summer. It was just like the audio mixing so bad that it's like watching it in theater. It was like half the time I don't know what's being
well
said
what
because you can
kills
hear.
me is that he was in an article like recently like a month ago or 2 months ago being like not understanding why people want to hear the dialogue.
Yeah, I don't get that part either. Yeah.
Like he was
I
like I don't
definitely, yeah, I read that article. He's like, I
why
don't
do you need
understand
to
why
hear
people
it?
want to know what's happening. And it's like, first of all, you're making a high concept movie that takes explanation to understand what's
Yeah.
going on, but you can't hear the explanation because everything's so goddamn loud.
You could that the idea of his audio mixing with dialogue and all that kind of shit
Mhm.
that attempt would be fine in Dunkirk because you can be like, okay, it's World War II. It doesn't matter what they're saying because it's all fear, it's all like
Yeah.
tension. The war's you can bullshit that.
Hmm.
Not when you're trying to describe the idea of fucking inverting time. Like,
Yeah.
how about this?
Which
Ex-
is also not time travel.
yeah,
It's like,
how about you fucking lower the fucking music, and
yeah.
you clearly state because to me here's what it is to me, and this is not true because but here's what my initial reaction was. He didn't think the fucking theory through enough. Now
No, yeah.
I know he did because I know him and his brother wrote it, and they
No,
think
that's definitely the thing that you get at first is like, oh, he's not
he's not
confident
confident in his
in his
theory.
explanation of what this is, so he's just going to drown it out.
Because the entire explanation scene where the girl's explaining it to the protagonist,
Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck are you saying?" I literally I watched the entire movie, dude, with subtitles.
Yeah.
And I want to say this: the main character in this movie sucks.
I don't mind him.
He sucks. He is a know-it-all, can do everything, unlikable, boring character who tries to be funny and witty, and all comes off as is snooty and snobby
Mhm.
and bad. Action wise and look wise, he looks great and acts great. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he's a dick. He's not
No, but the
likable.
writing of the character.
The writing of the character is piss poor. It's
Yeah.
terrible. Robert Pattinson's character, 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, he's like
10 out of 10.
makes the whole movie for
How
sure.
how the fuck is that character written so well and then the
Yeah.
other character's written so terribly? Because if I was looking at starting a fucking time protection time cop agency, it would
Yeah.
not be John David Washington or what the fuck his name is as my lead character, the guy who starts it. He would suck. He would completely blow. He sucks
Mm.
dick. Also, let's not act like the beginning of the whole movie. It crutches on like be- believing in the concept, and he
Oh,
believes the
100%.
concept way too fast.
Yeah.
Even if someone showed me it, I'd be like, visual effects. I'd be like, that's visual. Magnet glove. This
Mm.
glove I'm wearing, you put magnets in it. Like,
I guess I could see it with the glove thing, but I mean, getting a bullet to travel back into the barrel of a gun.
how
I don't
does he
know.
know? He can't see the bullet going back into the barrel though. Bullets travel too fast.
I guess for him, I don't know. It's
And
very
then he
strange.
and then he pulls the magazine out and the bullet there. The bullet's always been there, dude. You didn't check before. Like, so it's the idea that that the concept is showing you now, and people apparently though the whole movie talk about as and they know that it exists. You need to have explained to me that this thing is already a real thing in different ways before
Mhm.
you just go into the game and show it to me in this like stupid explanation scene with the bullet and the fucking tablet. Um,
Yeah, I also just don't understand. Like, I haven't really thought about the movie too much since I watched it.
I thought a lot about it.
I mean, I thought a lot about it for like the week or two after I watched it, and then because I watched it in like July, and I really haven't thought about it much since like July.
It is
um,
a surface level as fuck movie.
yeah, for sure. But it's just
Why
like
the fuck did
the
he shoot at
explanation
himself?
of him as this.
Time cup.
I don't understand now that I'm thinking about it more. I don't understand.
Why would he shoot himself?
Yeah, I don't understand him shooting himself, but I also just don't understand the concept of like, okay, so he's the one that founds this like
Uh huh.
inverse time agency,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been working with Robert Pattinson forever.
Uh huh.
How how did Robert Pat? You don't go back in time. You like have to travel back in time. Are you telling me Robert Pattinson traveled back like 20 years into the past and then went forward? I'm very confused about like his
Yeah.
character in
So
general because time travel doesn't exist in the typical sense of like beep boop bop. Now I'm back at this time.
so
Like you have to
what
actually physically travel
what
back
I
in time.
understand is this: protagonist finds Tenet. He's recruiting people.
Right.
He inverses to the past,
Okay.
recruits Robert Pattinson. They go back and work their life, and then Robert Pattinson reverts back to the past, and then inverses to stay there. That's what I believe is what's happening.
I'm I'm so confused. It's just
But even the
it's
idea,
I don't know.
even the idea,
It's the most confusing of his movies.
even the idea of like, oh, we inverse ourselves, and then now everything looks backwards. It's just dumb. Just make a time travel movie.
I mean, that concept of that is interesting because you can do interesting stuff with it, like the fact that fire is cold and that you have to like breathe carbon dioxide, not oxygen.
I think it sounds cool to Christopher Nolan.
I think it sounds interesting.
Like the final fight scene, I'm like, I think this is dumb. I think this is just stupid.
I don't even remember what the final. Oh yeah,
The whole big raid scene, I'm like, this is
the raid
dumb.
scene where you have like like the inverse with the
Yeah,
regular time.
like the blue team, red team shit. I'm like,
It's
this
hard
is
to understand what's going on with that scene because you have people in the past who are fighting people in the present,
yeah.
but I
I
don't.
just thought it was dumb, and then like the idea of like maybe it was the execution of it, which is that there's no other better way. Like Christopher Nolan's gonna find the best way to execute that theory.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the theory alone. Like, it sounds cool on paper to be some highbrow concept sci-fi thing, and it definitely is.
Yeah.
But you put it on screen, and I'm like, this is underwhelming.
Mm.
I really just would rather if you made a really great time travel movie with some high stakes and some high concept time travel theories or whatever, but like the idea of like we're gonna walk through this machine and it's going to invert and we're gonna walk through the viewing mirror and
Yeah.
the glass is gonna show you if you don't fuck all that. That's all lame. It's just lame. And it's not like it's a bad movie. It's just
Hmm.
poorly mixed audio wise, and then like parts of it I think are goofy. Um, the driving backward stuff I thought was goofy. Um, the idea like okay, we said he knows everything. Brandon knows everything because he went in inversed, so he saw everything. I'm like, oh, then you just go inverse all of your shit. Then like, you just know everything. Like, come on, like why the fuck would you not know this already? Then
Yeah.
like, wouldn't the protagonist know this already? Because you already inversed it 4 or 5 times. Like, fucking know everything then. Like, just leave yourself notes like fucking Kenneth Branagh did. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, the whole purpose is defeated then.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of like fucking time traveling to the past and giving yourself the fucking answer. Okay, that's what you're doing.
Hmm.
Just inverse it 5 6 times then. Just fucking David Tennant. Fucking that's Doctor Who. Fucking Tennant main guy.
Hmm.
You already know what's going on, so just fucking inverse to yourself and then give yourself the answer so you're not wondering about who the fuck is I'm fighting with. Why not?
Yeah.
There's no that whole fight scene is purposeless.
It also doesn't make sense because there's definitely have that one scene that I don't understand where it's like it's that interrogation scene where you've got the guy and he's got the girl and he's like
Yeah.
interrogating or he's like threatening the girl to get like something out of John David Washington, and then you figure out that they're actually like in the past,
Yeah.
but it doesn't make sense to me from the concept of like, and maybe I just need to rewatch the movie again, but I don't remember it making sense that like because everybody talks backwards in the past because they're
Yeah.
like in reverse,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure he heard him like normal.
Yeah.
I thought. Was there an explanation for that, or
I think what it was is that
I can't remember. There's a lot of stuff that
he
like
I think what it was
requires a lot of explanation to like make sense.
so I finished the movie
Hmm.
immediately was like, oh, that's so I wanted to test my theory because I had a theory. I had a hypothesis forming in my mind
Okay.
at this after watching Ten. I was like, I want
What
to
was your scientific method? Lay it on me.
Well, the first step was to rewatch Interstellar because that was the last sci-fi movie that he made, right?
Yeah. It was.
So I go, okay, so I boot up Interstellar and I watch it for the first time. I've only seen Interstellar once.
Yeah, I've only seen it
I
once.
walked out of the theater being like, or walked out of watching it being like, eh, same reaction to Tenet, meh,
Okay.
right? So I finished Interstellar, and I went, wow,
I feel like
my
Interstellar is easier to follow than this, though.
it is, but my reaction to Interstellar was the same reaction to Tenet, and then my conclusion to my hypothesis was correct,
Which was.
which is this: Christopher Nolan comes up with these high fucking concept theories that he thinks are super duper duper fancy,
Right.
and they all hinge and like matter and are solvable by the most improbable stupid little thing. Like
Mm.
Interstellar only succeeds like in the story because the future people are able to harness time and 3D presence and matter. So they put him into a box, which allows him to go back to his bookshelf and change the gravity and stop fucking whatever on the stopwatch to save the Earth.
Hmm.
What the fuck are you talking about? That's called bad writing.
Hmm.
Inception had fantastic writing, right? It's almost as though
I don't.
Christopher
Exception also didn't
Nolan
like hinge on like some like
there was no
improbable thing.
there was exactly it was this we steal shit The deeper we go, the more unstable the heist goes.
Yeah.
Okay, end of story. What happens when you get too deep?
And then you
You
have
might get
things
lost.
get wrong. You have things go wrong on each level that progressively makes it harder for the
Right.
people who are further in.
And it's also like the idea is like, okay, we can't go too deep. If we go too deep, we might get lost. How do we know this? Spin your fucking thing or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
End of movie, we don't know what the fuck happened, right? Great.
Right.
It's a deep concept, but also super easy to understand.
Yeah.
Interstellar was like, okay, here's a highbrow basic idea of space travel and planetary stuff, but it's all
Mhm.
going to matter only to a small, stupid idea that's going to save the day. And Tenet, the entire thing is a stupid idea that's going to save the day. And it's almost like he made Inception. People were like, "Oh my god, it's so deep." It's not. You go into your dream.
Well, I think the thing is that I think a lot of people watched Inception and they were like, "Oh my God, this is such an interesting high concept. Like nobody's ever
Yeah.
thought of something like this before." And he's like, "Fuck! Now every single one of my
Ex-
movies has to have
that's my
some
point.
interesting high concept that nobody's ever thought of
That's
before."
my point. And he's just progressively making it more whatever.
Yeah.
But
But then
what?
you also have Dunkirk. That's just like
Right.
a movie about World War II.
But when you have like Interstellar, where like, and it's a good movie if you haven't seen 2001.
Yeah.
um, and it's a good movie if you haven't seen any of Alien or whatever the fuck. But like, it's this big sci-fi space movie, which is cool in theory. It has cool props and cool designs and a cool concept for the Earth dying or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And like the humanity blocks out NASA and Apollo missions were fake. That's all cool stuff.
Hmm.
But it all like the entire survival is based on the fact that future humanity has learned to harness time.
Hmm.
And to me that's like
I thought it was all based around the power of love. Maybe I need to rewatch that again.
though power love is there, but it's really about the reality of time.
Okay.
That he drifts into the black
I
hole.
know that's the string shit.
Yeah, he drifts into the black hole, and then he ends
Yeah.
up like finding himself in the fucking bookshelf or whatever because
Hmm.
it's a fucking whatever loop that shit is, and then he's able to stop the watch and see every part of time that his daughter wasn't, which is fucking dumb,
Yeah.
and see all the bookshelves at different times in her life, which is fucking dumb. And he's able to use the gravity to stop the watch and Morse code it, which is fucking dumb, right? So that all is stupid. That all is very dumb. What it literally should have been a straightforward ass. We go through the black hole, we find a fucking planet, and we're able to figure out a way to transmit this data back. Straightforward ass sci-fi movie about humanity survival, and it still would have been good. You don't need to
Hmm.
have fucking like we get to the fucking end of the movie. Also, the end of Interstellar is fucking dumb. It ends with fucking Anne Hathaway's on a planet and Matthew McConaughey, who's in the future, is gonna steal one of these jet glider spacecrafts that can transverse time and go find her. And it just cuts there. Eh, dumb.
God, is that the end of the movie? I
Just
haven't seen it. I haven't
yeah.
seen Interstellar in like 5 years. I
He's
feel
like
like
sneaking into the to go get into one of the craft to go find Anne Hathaway's character.
all I remember is that Matt Damon shows up and he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Um, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's not good. Like it's good visually, but it's not good. Like it's that one thing that bothers me. It's always like it's the concept just goes too far in both those movies. Like it's a little too much. I'm like, okay, we're really hoping that I'm buying into this one theory,
Yeah.
and you're not giving me reason to believe in it, or it's just too goofy. Like, why would you go to the bookshelf? How about anywhere else? Just by coincidence, you go to the bookshelf?
Yeah.
Hey, that makes no sense. So with Tenet, I was like, this is just the same fucking thing. I was like thinking about it after I watched it. So I was like, this is the same problem he had, just to a higher level. Like he had
Okay.
this concept that was cool. It's a cool idea. It looks cool in the fucking action.
Hmm.
But after you finish the movie, you feel empty. You're like, this was a movie, and I know that I should like it because it's Christopher Nolan's name on it.
Yeah.
But when you think deeply about it, you're like, yeah, Inception was better.
Yeah. Well, I think Inception was definitely probably like the highlight of his movie making career. But I think it was also the downfall of it because
Yeah.
I think it's definitely like he's gotten to that mindset where he's like, every single movie I do from now on, except for Dunkirk,
Yeah.
has to be some high concept, strange, out there theory, and I have to craft this whole movie around it. And even if it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna do it because that's
Yeah.
what people want. Because everybody loved Interstellar, or not Interstellar,
Look
goddamn
again.
Inception.
It goes back to the same problem which I was talking about with Tenet, where it's like McConaughey wakes up from being in the black hole. He survives the black hole and they find him,
Mm-hmm.
and he just the idea that we're going to accept that the future race of humanity has space stations, it has harnessed the ability to travel through to harness time or whatever. We're just supposed to believe it. In Tenet, we're just supposed to believe that the inverse thing is just a thing, like this so fast. We're supposed to believe it, right?
Mm.
Whereas with Inception, it appears more dense than it actually really is. Like it's just a machine where your consciousness is linked. That's all it is. It's where
Mm-hmm.
it's just Freddy Krueger. You're just your conscience is able to connect to someone else's when they're dreaming. That's as deep as it goes.
Yeah.
And you're able to find secrets or thoughts because it's in their brain. That's it.
Mm.
That's Dream Thief, right?
Yeah.
There's no like moment where you have to like get them to be like, okay, here's what it is. But the other two sci-fi movies he made, there's always like a moment where you're like, okay, we're already going beyond the level of belief. Whereas
Mm.
Inception's like the opening scene is Inception,
Yeah.
and you're like, what the fuck's going on? What? Oh, I saw Inception in the fucking like. Oh, I saw the dream heist in action, so I understand now. Whereas like Tenet is like, nope, you're gonna get not gonna understand what it is, and you're gonna learn with the audience, and it's still not gonna make sense.
Mm.
Whereas in Inception, it's like, no, Cobb's the guy. So
Yeah.
Cobb is confident in everything. He's not worried about like being like he's like, no, I know what I'm doing. I fuck with dreams,
Yeah.
right? And when he goes into it, he's never like he explains to Paige
Mm-hmm.
as she is the audience supposed to be the receptor, whereas John David Washington is the receptor for the audience, but he's so like nonchalant about it. He's like, got it,
Yeah.
copy that. Whereas Paige is like, so if I do this and I do this and I do this, it's gonna fuck up the dream. And he's like, yeah,
Yeah, I would think that's probably the biggest detriment to Tenet is yeah, there's no like learning moment in Tenet where you're like, yeah, as an audience member and as characters, you're like learning together. Yeah, it's kind of just like forced upon you.
even the moments where Robin Pattinson is like teaching him a little bit,
But
it
also
does
that's
not
disingenuous
much.
because Robert Penn. Oh, I thought you were gonna say when he's trying to teach, because I feel like at one point it's like he's trying to teach Robert Pattinson, and then
Oh,
it's like, well, that's disingenuous because Robert
well, I'm talking
Pattinson
about
already
like
knows all this shit.
the moments where Robin Pattinson even explains it to him, like
Yeah.
later on explains the bits of it to him, like it's already happened, like all that kind of stuff. It is what it is, whatever. Even then, you're like, oh, okay, because what have made the character better in my eyes is like if he's like, what the fuck, like he's like, oh
Yeah.
shit, okay, and as it's happening, he's still confident in his abilities as a soldier, spy, whatever.
Yeah.
But as the crazy shit's happening, he's like, "What the?" I'm like trying to like work out the
I feel like you kind
formulas.
of had that in like the in the intro opera house scene
It
where it's
was
just
very
like you have
minimal.
that initial thing and you got the
Yeah,
bullet that goes back and he kind of has that moment where he's like what the fuck is going on, but yeah,
but then
I think the
it
problem with
immediately
that is
cuts to
there's not I think the problem is that those moments don't stick around for him. He's like what the fuck,
yeah.
and then he's like all right, I accept it, and
I
moves
got
on.
it. I got it. Gotcha. Copy that. Got it.
Yeah.
So, I they're fine. It was a fine movie. I mean, it could use a sequel that he won't make, but it could use a sequel where he actually like turns down the volume and decides to like explore the concept a little more. Because it's there's a lot of stuff you can do there. You know,
Yeah.
you can show it and you can make it a really cool spy movie because this was not a spy movie. No matter what he wanted to advertise it as, this was not. No spy movie has a massive rate in it.
No.
You know, if it does have a
Unless you're
spy,
looking at like Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie.
yeah. So I mean, maybe I'm off base. I don't know. That's what I think. So that's all I was checking out for the week, man.
Okay. So I guess get into the next topic, our main topic, final week of 80s action movie month. A bit of a palate cleanser for me, at least,
Oh yeah.
because we watched. Was this one of Chuck Norris's first like standalone action movies?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so. It feels like it. Lone Wolf McQuade.
Hmm.
Um, after Above the Law with Steven Seagal last week, this was a welcome breath of fresh air. This was a
Yeah.
fun movie. I enjoyed watching this movie.
Yeah, this is an amazing movie.
I forgot how hairy
Oh
Chuck Norris
yeah,
is.
dude.
He's got like the hairiest knuckles. They have that close up in like the first scene where he like picks up a rock, and I was like,
How do
God
you
damn,
not
your knuckles
remember
are hairy,
seeing him
dude.
fight Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
If you
Well, I mean,
watch the
his
scene,
chest was hairy, but I, I,
bro,
I forgot that I didn't realize that like his hands were so
if your
hairy.
chest is that hairy, your whole body is that hairy.
That's fair.
I people our age always forget that he has like awesome movies.
Yeah.
We think of like the memes in the
Yeah.
in the bit
Memes, sure. Yeah.
and maybe Walker, but like he has some really cool action movies and like there's a reason he's a star. There's a reason why he was
Yeah.
so popular because he's like Rambo JCVD. Like, it's like a combo of both of them.
Yeah.
Where like
I would say this is a good combo.
he
Yeah.
has movies where he's shooting guns and he has movies where he's doing kicks.
This got both, man. He's
Yeah,
shooting guns and he's kicking.
you know, like missing in action and stuff like that.
Mhm.
This movie though, I don't think I saw this movie way later in life.
I know I've never seen it before, but it's got David Carradine.
Yeah,
I was like, hell yeah.
yeah, B movie,
Love
the
David
B
Carradine.
movie king.
Yeah.
I saw this movie later in life. Versus like a lot of his other movies I saw. Like I saw Missing in Action very young. Invasion USA I saw very young. Like VHS era I saw those movies. I didn't even hear about this movie until like much later. First I don't know why, just roll the dice I guess. And then I got really mad after I watched it because it was such a fun movie.
Yeah.
That I was like, how the fuck did I miss this? It's like, did I miss this movie for so long?
Yeah.
What was your first reaction though? Have you ever seen a Chuck Norris movie before?
I don't think I have really.
So how was your first experience to a Chuck
I
Norris
mean, I've
movie?
watched Walker Texas Ranger, but I don't think I've
Right,
ever watched like one of his action movies.
right.
Um, it's fun, dude. He's good. He's got a good on-screen presence. I
Yeah.
like him a lot, especially in this movie. I think he's got a really good. I mean, he definitely hits like that Walker Texas Ranger vibe, which I mean, he
Hmm.
is a Texas Ranger in this. But I like him as like the do take no shit cop. Like I don't
Yeah.
fucking pay attention to the rules. He's got his boss who is the asshole where he's like Texas Rangers got style and all
Yeah,
this other
yeah.
shit. And I was like, I really feel like Texas Rangers are just badasses. I don't know if they need style, but I liked it a lot. Yeah, I really liked him in the role. He's got the actual martial arts background, so like
Yeah.
his all of his action scenes are like top notch. Like they're hitting the mark for me.
Yeah. I loved it when I first watched it, and then seeing it again because I've only seen it a couple times.
Hmm.
It's such a fun movie,
Yeah,
and it's not like a movie that I mean, again, it's a Chuck Norris action movie from the '80s. It's not gonna
yeah,
be like, fucking Citizen Kane. You know, what I mean, like I know what it is, but and also it knows what it is.
yeah.
Like it's self aware in the sense of like it knows what kind of movie it's making,
Hmm.
and it's a canon movie,
Yeah. No, it's
and
Orion.
it's Orion. Okay,
Yeah,
um, well those are the same things
basically. Yeah.
basically, um, but like it's self aware enough to where like it's like not gonna be like Steven Seagal movies.
Hmm.
He doesn't understand.
No, he thinks he's like the biggest badass to ever walk.
He thinks he's doing some special shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Chuck Norris is like
I think he embraced. I mean, this is definitely like before, like the whole memes and all that kind of stuff. But like, I think he realizes he's like, I'm a guy who knows martial arts and I can beat people up.
yeah. And I was in the military
Yeah,
and I worked with Bruce Lee. Like
yeah,
it's like I'm confident enough to know that I'm making an action movie.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I'm making a goofy action movie, and
hmm,
to put pride into that and to make it a good movie as best as you can. Because
yeah,
I watched this movie, and I'm like, man, there's some goofy shit in here,
Oh yeah, for sure.
but it's like never like obscene. I'm always like happy. It's like it's fun, and
And also, his main partner, not the Mexican guy, but the older white dude, is that the guy from the Mask of Zorro?
oh, I don't remember.
I kept seeing his face the whole time. It's like the guy who ends up like training Antonio Banderas' character. I feel like it's the same guy. He's got
Dude,
that similar.
bro, the guy who trained the guy who trained Zorro.
I mean, no, not sorry, not trained because that's Anthony Hopkins. I
Yeah,
mean the bandit guy. The
the
like who
the,
trained him as
the
a
first the
bandit.
first guy.
Yeah,
I don't remember. It could be.
it looks like his same face. But he was great in this movie too.
Yeah. You mean yeah the guy who like who has him faked up, locked up?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that old guy. Yeah. Does he die in
When
that
he like
movie?
shoots the Uzi at the
Yeah.
pin, he's like, "Oops, sorry, my hand slipped."
Did you see about the new Zorro?
What? There's new Zorro?
Yeah, dude. Google it real quick.
Hold on,
I know we were talking about this movie, but Google new Zorro real quick.
new Zorro. Okay. Is it Anthony? Is it? I mean, Robert Rodriguez is cool.
Who's starring in it though?
Wait, hold on. What?
Who's starring in this movie?
Hold on. Hold on. The centers on. Oh wait, is this right? Hold on. I haven't seen like a definitive. This is who's starring in it yet. Hold on. I'll read a different article. Okay.
When was the article posted?
This one is from 2019.
Oh yeah, you're way too past, dude.
Hold on,
This
December 9th, 2020.
this is new shit.
Like this week new?
This is like December 9th.
Okay. God, is that? Hold on, that can't be right. It's not really her, is it?
You sure, bro?
It's not actually her. It can't actually be her.
What are you talking about?
Sofia Vergara? She's not a good actress.
What are you saying? What are you trying to say?
Also, she's not an action star.
Well, we've made have dude. Okay, here's what kills me, especially after we're watching A's Action Movie Month.
Yeah,
Um, I keep seeing these fucking videos, and I know this is interrupting our review, so I apologize.
that's fine.
I keep seeing like fucking these movies on Netflix that like star like do you see Peppermint on
I saw
Netflix?
that. That's like Jessica Biel, right, or
I
something.
think it's Jessica Biel, Jennifer Gardner, one of the two.
One of those two. They're like the
Yeah,
same person.
I keep seeing those movies where it's like they take the female movie person, and they want to make an action movie with them.
They did that with what was it? They had the one with the Mexican chick that came out
Yeah,
like last year, or the Miss Baller or
the
whatever.
Jane the Virgin girl, or whatever.
Yeah.
And like my girlfriend's like, yeah, let's watch this movie. And I was like, no, definitely not. And then I see people on like TikTok will like post clips of the movie, and the comments are like these kids being like, "Oh, she's such a badass. What a badass movie." And I just like thinking, like, man, no, it's not. It's not because it's gonna be shit filmed. It's gonna be
Yeah.
trash action sequences filmed poorly, so
Because
quick
these
cut.
these well, it's like these
Now hold
the
on,
people
Zach.
who are starring in movies now don't want to put in the work.
If they want to go and tell me, hey, we have a John Wick spinoff starring Halle Berry, yes, because she
Hell
put the
yeah.
fucking work in.
Hell yeah,
There are
dude.
so many videos of her training the dogs. I think the dogs live with her for like.
I think so,
I was
yeah.
watching the interview. You should watch it when you get a chance because
Hmm.
it comes out soon. The new season of Scott Atkins' podcast, Art of Action. It starts. The new season starts this month. But he
Okay.
interviews Sam Hargrave, which is the director in the last season of Extraction,
Okay.
who's also an action coordinator for a lot of stuff. And I think he might have worked on Wick, but they interviewed the director of John Wick too,
Hmm.
who happens to be Keanu Reeves' stunt double from The Matrix, right?
Right.
So he was talking about how long Halle Berry worked for the role. And she's like, yeah, the dogs lived with her for like months, and she was at the range, and she was calling commands, and so she put the fucking work in. So when you
Yeah.
watch the movie, you're like, dude, this looks like she fucking has been doing this, like she's an assassin with dogs,
Yeah.
right? But you watch these scenes, like with this Peppermint movie, I watched the trailer for it. I'm like, this looks like garbage.
Yeah.
Like they're not putting the time in because people want to just buy the fucking. We talked about before. Just want to pay the money to fucking watch Jennifer Gardner do some shit action sequences that are super slow, super
Yeah.
boring, quick cut, and it looks like trash, right? So I never want to watch fucking Safira Vergara
No.
be Zorro.
No. I feel
How's
like there's got to be other people out there who are like.
if you
Couldn't they get
want?
like Michelle Rodriguez or whatever? The Fast and
Don't
Furious
do
chick?
that, Zach. What are you
I feel like
talking
it's better
about?
than Sofia
What
Vergara.
her the way she talks as Zorro? Oh my god,
Oh my god.
she'd be
You want Sofia
terrible.
Vergara the way she talks as
I
Zorro?
don't want Sofia Vergara, but at least she's pretty. The point is this: I
Michelle
don't.
Rodriguez is like tough girl pretty.
Yeah, you're right. I don't give a fuck about gender bending the character. I don't give two fucks about that. What
Yeah.
I care about is making sure the person can do action.
Yeah.
And there is no way in hell that 40-year-old Sofia Vergara or 45-year-old, no matter who her husband
Yeah.
is going to make and put the time into be unawkward with the fucking rapier
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck sword he uses. It's not gonna happen.
It's a rapier.
You need to. Well, I don't know if there's some like Spanish name for like no. Oh, it's a rapier in France,
I
but
think
in
so.
Spain it's a or whatever the fuck in California, it's going to be some different term. It makes no fucking sense to me to cast her, except for the fact that she's a star, and I get it. You need to have movie stars be in movies to make money. I
Yeah.
understand that, but that would be like, listen, Zach, I turn the TV on, and they want the fucking cast Natalie Portman as Batman. Excuse me, you know how much I have affection for that actress and her movies, but she's no Batman, and there's
No.
no way she put time in to be Batman. Like her
She's
as
barely gonna put time in to be Thor.
and and that's fine because you don't have to because you're a fucking god character. Like, you can just do like shitty ass like and like people fly away because you're a god, right? Or you have god powers, whatever, right? But you're Zorro.
Yeah.
You'd be jumping through windows, fucking spinning on, and that means that your stunt double, you're going to be in mask doing your stunts, and it's going to how are you gonna hide that?
Yeah.
It's literally just this. And I understand that Antonio Banderas definitely had a stunt double. I'm not saying he didn't. I understand that. But when he fought outside the mask, it looked good.
It still look good, yeah.
It looked good. Also, he did the fucking he did the first Mexican movie.
Mariachi.
Like it's good. That's a good action
Yeah.
movie. So why the fuck will we cast this lady? Why? Why? Find some other action Spanish person, Mexican person.
There's gotta be somebody.
There's 100% someone. Find some stunt action coordinator, some stunt actor.
Yeah.
Find the stunt double for Michelle Rodriguez. Do that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It kills me because Zorro is so. I've been watching Zorro, like just the
Yeah,
show,
great.
like just the show. I've been watching. My mom would buy me fucking the old like serials,
Mm-hmm.
like the black and white serials on VHS tape because I remember asking for Zorro stuff, and she's like, "Okay, I just found these." I watch them, and because he's a pulp ass character and he's so cool,
Yeah.
and you're gonna ruin him for his return to the big screen by casting the girl from Modern Family.
Yeah. Mm.
And they're gonna make her have some big boob fucking thing. Because her whole character is big boobs. That's her
Her
whole
whole
thing.
character in anything is just that she's hot.
And they're gonna make her wear like some stupid ass thing where she has like some big boobs, or she's gonna be walking through a party and she's gonna have some like fucking sexy dress thing, and they're gonna be like, I'm Zorro. Fuck you. Fuck you. Be cool as shit.
I mean, Antonio Banderas walked through a party and he looked like a fucking G, man.
And she should do that as well. But
Yeah.
there is absolutely no way
Yeah.
that this movie no matter who the director
Well,
is.
first of all, I just don't believe her personality as an actress. I don't
Yeah,
believe her as an action star. She's goofy
yeah,
comedy lady.
and she's
That's
not
like
funny,
that's her thing.
and she's not funny.
I haven't watched Modern Family enough to know.
She's not funny in that show. It's not her
Well,
who's
there's everybody
funny.
around her that's funny. Yeah,
Everyone else around her is funny.
yeah,
It's her husband in that show is funny.
yeah.
You
Because he's
know,
a dude from Married with
yeah,
Children. I can't
yeah.
remember.
I would
He's like my
rather.
favorite old man actress of all time, or old man actor of all time.
Now, the one thing I would be okay with is if they cast her real life husband as the
Yeah, Mangiello. Hell yeah, dude.
when what's his name God, I remember talking about Zorro a few months ago. Um, the guy who plays the white colonel character.
Yeah,
He's in another movie. What's he in?
fuck, dude.
He's in another memorable movie that I remember when
Hold
I was a
on.
kid watching Zorro. I didn't understand because I didn't see the movie or it didn't come out yet. But when I rewatched Zorro like last year for the just on the podcast or whatever, I remember watching and being like, dude, I fucking know this guy. And then when I googled it, I was
He's
so
in The
amazed.
Flash.
Who's he play?
Um, Give me a sec.
But he's in a movie or something that I
It looks like a lot of his stuff is TV stuff.
okay, maybe it's a TV show then.
He was in Narcos.
Who's he play in Narcos?
Let's see. Narcos Mexico. Narcos Mexico. He plays James Coy Kendall.
Oh, hold
Let's
on.
see his name.
So he's fucking Reverse Flash and Flash.
Oh, like younger Reverse Flash?
He's Thawne.
Wait, that's not hit. Wait, hold on. You mean Thawne before he takes over Harrison's body, Thawne?
Yeah, his actual
Okay,
person.
yeah.
Yeah. I think what it was, I think I was watching Flash when I watched Zorro. I think that must be why I was so like interested in it.
Possibly.
Um, but he was so good in this movie, dude. He's so fucking creepy.
In Zorro, yeah, he's
Yeah, in
fucking
Zorro,
fantastic.
dude, he's so good.
He's got the heads in the jars, man. He's like
They
he's up
could
there.
they could cast Magniello as him and have him be just yoked up. But then but then but then I wouldn't believe the fight when Zorro fights him because I'd be like,
I wouldn't
okay,
believe that his wife could beat him in a fight.
yeah, I'd be like, you just punch him and you just fucking destroy him, dude. You
Yeah.
fucking gunshot punch. Um, do you think they're gonna cast that character, the Colonel character, or whoever it is, as a bad lady too?
I feel like it's going to be a take down the patriarchy thing, so I feel like it's still going to be a white man.
Yeah. Who would you want if we can't
That's
save
Harrison Love.
if we can't save the character being Sofia Vergara, who do we put as the bad guy, or as the heavy to the bad guy? Who do we do?
I feel like if you're going to go for a similar thing that happened in the first Zorro movie, I feel like a similar person that's in in that vein is what's the guy's name? The guy from Logan, the bad guy in that. He was also in.
Taylor Kitsch.
Is that him? The
Guy
main
who,
bad guy with the robot hand?
oh, is that Taylor Kitsch? Is he
Hold
the
on.
guy from who played Gambit?
No, he's the guy that was in. He was in Predators too.
Oh, that's
Like
the guy from Narcos.
okay.
I can't remember his name.
I feel like he could be good in that role.
The guy from Narcos. Yeah. Oh God. What
Hold
was he
on.
in recently too? He was in something recently.
I can't remember. Logan, hold on. Boyd Holbrook, that's his
Yeah,
name.
boy. What was he in recently?
Let's see.
He was in
He was
something.
in Narcos. He was in The Predator, In the Shadow of the Moon,
Yeah, yeah.
Logan.
TV show. Anything
Uh,
recent?
um, Fugitive, Hatfields and McCoys.
Fugitive. He was in The Fugitive for Quibi.
Oh, that was a Quibi show?
Yeah, I was so bummed out because I wanted to be a real show because he's so good. This guy.
Yeah.
This
I like
dude's
him a lot.
this dude's really good at Narcos, man.
Everything he's in, I've liked him in everything that I've seen him in.
This guy
He's like one of the better parts of the Predators movie.
for a long time, like after watching Narcos, and they look nothing alike. But this
Mhm.
guy and Scoot McNairy, I kept getting confused. This is just Scoot because Narcos he had a mustache, and then Scoot I see him
Right.
half the time has a mustache,
Yeah.
and also Scoot's in Narcos. So there you go.
Is Scoot? Oh, okay.
He's in Mexico season 2
Okay.
that
Gotcha.
I haven't finished. Um,
Scoot's great, man.
he is great. He's also in Argo. I watched Argo. He's in Argo.
He's in the third season of True Detective. One of my favorite parts of that season.
He is in that movie or that show. I haven't finished that show either.
It's fine.
Yeah, I haven't finished that.
It's not as good as the first season, but it's better than the second.
I think the second season is the best season. No, I'm just kidding. I think the scene where Colin, what's his name? What's his name? Not Colin.
Colin Farrell?
Yeah, where he beats the guy's dad up. Then that's the best scene in all of True Detective history.
Uh,
So Lone Wolf McQuaid's a movie.
yeah, it is.
It's a good movie. It's a fun
It's
action
fun. It's
movie.
fun. Good
Um,
action. It's got a midget Mexican drug lord, which I thought was really funny.
jeez, man,
I'm sorry, little person.
coming out here with the fucking hot words, dude. Damn.
Apologize.
Um,
Got some Tom Segura rubbing off.
you
of
know,
me, so.
I have this patch I bought for my jacket.
I saw that.
And it was on my jacket. It was here because
Mm-hmm.
I have a jean jacket that I 80'd up, right?
Okay.
And I have had it for a while now. And I have some patches that I haven't put on yet, but this patch was on the like here,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't iron it on enough, so it fell off, or like it was coming off, so
Okay.
I just pulled it off, so I have to buy a new one. And I
Gotcha.
have I want to believe here with the no
Okay.
the circle, the alien with the ship.
You're right.
Got Spangler name tag right here.
Okay.
I got TMNT patch. And I'm trying to find more I'm trying to find like more patches to put on there. Like
Um,
not banned ones, but just I mean I could get some banned ones.
mhm.
I have a bunch of banned ones here somewhere, but um they're all like death metal bands, but I want like some pop culture shit.
Mhm.
I was thinking about getting like the fucking what's it called? What's the fucking company from RoboCop? Um
Shit, dude, I can't remember.
see something? See something? See something? I wanted to get a Skynet one.
Skynet would be dope.
Yeah.
Should get the what was it? There's got to be one for like the Starship Troopers, like the Federation patch. There's
Oh
got to be one.
yeah. I don't love that movie like you do.
Oh, I love Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I've seen it like twice, and I thought it was fine.
I think, I think I've seen it like five,
Who's the
six.
girl in that movie?
Which girl?
The main girl that like sleeps with everybody.
The
The girl like he's like at the beginning that they're friends with.
the redhead?
Whatever the main girl is that he's friends with.
Well, there's like two main girls.
Okay, who are the main girls?
There's his girlfriend, and then there's hold on, Starship Troopers. Give me a second. So there's Dina Meyer,
Okay,
and then there's Denise Richards.
Denise Richards is who I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about
Okay, yeah,
Denise
that's his
Richards.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Whose boobs do we see?
I think that's Diz's. So
Okay,
that's the other chick,
the other chick.
Dina Meyer.
I always hear that the book. Oh, I gotta pee so bad. Hold on, give me a second, dude.
No, you're good. I tried to watch the book, or watch the book. I tried to read the book once. I think I bought it on like Kindle or something like that. I think it was Kindle, or maybe it was like my Nook or something like that. I know I had it at one point, but the book is so much different. The book is like it has the very much like the what is it? The World War Z or Diary of Z or whatever. It has that kind of feel to it, where it's not like a consistent story. At least from what I remember reading, it didn't feel like a consistent story. It felt much more like a like vignettes of like what's going on in this like war. Also, I don't think there's like bug creatures in the book. I can't remember. I only read like the first two chapters, and it was just like I wasn't feeling it. But I definitely had that vibe of like a World War Z or like a. I'm trying to think. There's got to be like another book like that besides World War Z that has that like diary, like diary or like oh my god, what's it called? Oh my god, what's it called? It's like it's got like a diary or like a oh my god, anthology type of like storytelling to it, which is like it's kind of what I remember the Starship Trooper book being like. I don't remember, I didn't read all of it. I only got like a chapter or two in, but it definitely had that feel of like a it's like a World War Z type of thing book where it's like vignettes or like diary entries or like anthologies as opposed to like an overarching story. I also don't remember there being like bug creatures in it. I don't know. I remember I read it a little bit, and I was just like, this is not Starship Troopers, and like
Well,
stuff.
what I understand is actually opposite of what you're saying,
Hmm.
which is that I haven't read it. This is just what people when I see when I look up like book stuff, they're
Okay.
like the book's heavy. Like
Mm.
it's a super like anti like it's like a Vietnam style like anti war depth of war kind of book type thing where
I
it,
definitely remember it being heavy.
like obviously the movie is super satirical and has those
Yeah,
same elements, but apparently the book is like super duper like really deep heavy. And I
I
think
could see.
the opposite of that's like the Forever War. So these
Mm.
other books that are like super uh, I mean opposites. There's actually there's a big essay about these two books that I have not read and probably never will read. Um, not because they're not bad, but because I don't wanna.
Yeah.
Um, but I no. So this movie, Starship Troopers, I never not liked it. I just never really cared enough to watch it again.
Mm.
Thought the effects looked good. That the storyline was funny. I thought it was
Yeah.
super good, like black comedy, if you want to call it that,
Hmm.
satire. I thought it was fine. Who's the main guy?
Casper Van Dien.
I can't even tell you who the fuck that is, dude. What is he's done anything else?
I feel like he's been in some other stuff. I know he's been in some stuff like as he's older.
Okay.
I'm
Um, uh, man, I thought the story was
trying to
cool. I thought
think.
the action was cool. I think the idea of like it's really good satire, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. But it's just for some reason I didn't click with it the way that other people did.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that type of thing, and I think especially like, I mean, I think for you, you probably watch RoboCop first, and I think
Oh
like,
yeah,
as far as like, I mean, it's both Verhoeven, but I think it's like, as far as like, I feel like it's that type of thing where it's like, it probably depends on like which one you watch first as to like which one you connect with more.
hmm
Because I watched this one before I watched RoboCop, so I feel like for me,
yeah.
I like connect and like watch this one more than I've watched RoboCop. But
Well, I also think too
I don't know.
he's satirizing two different
He
themes.
satirizes different things for
You
sure.
know,
Yeah.
like one's the war theme and like aliens and
One's more
immigration.
definitely like it's like forever war and like anti-fascism and like the
Yeah,
propaganda, the World War II like propaganda film,
yeah.
like satirizing that all type of era. And then, yeah, I mean, RoboCop was all about like over policing and like commercialization of
Yeah.
everything, like yeah, all that
But
good
even
stuff.
then, it's over policing. Yet you picked the at the time one of the worst cities in the country to
Yeah, also like
and
one of
like
the most
it's
crime-ridden places in like
clearly didn't
yeah,
help because it's still one of the worst places. Like even with the prioritized security and the prioritized policing didn't help
yeah.
Detroit.
Even having a RoboCop doesn't help
Doesn't
Detroit.
help Detroit. Well, dude, I know we reviewed Lone Wolf McQuade in depth.
We did.
Yeah, it's an '80s action movie. What do you expect?
I mean, honestly, it's like I don't know. I mean, there's not too much to like dig into it because I mean, there's not like too much underneath the
the
surface. I
only
mean, it is what
way
it is, and it's a fun
yeah,
movie.
the only way we can review the movie the way that people would want. It's one of those movies that like there's not enough cool like single scenes in it. It's a well-made action movie.
Yeah,
Everything is well made. The stunts are fine. The action is fine. Acting is what you expect from an '80s Chuck Norris movie. It's an
yeah,
'80s Chuck Norris movie.
yeah,
It's one of those movies that like it's a well-rounded '80s action flick. That's all it is.
yeah,
That's all it is. You know,
yeah. I mean, it's just overall, it's just a solid movie.
it's not Terminator. It's not Lethal Weapon. It's not
No,
Die Hard. Those movies, you go, oh man, we're gonna fawn
yeah, it's
over
not
this
changing
stuff.
the game or anything like that.
Right. It's one of those Orion Cannon style movies that just slides in, and hey, you know what? It's this time of year, new Chuck movie. I'm stopping by fucking, fucking Blockbuster and or insert private VHS store
Hollywood Video.
before Blockbuster took over everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, hey, no, it's a new Chuck movie. Real quick, dude, hold the fuck on.
What?
This is not related to Chuck Norris at all. I was so pissed yesterday,
What
or
happened?
2 days ago. My girlfriend and I were watching this YouTube video
Okay.
about this. It's some like movie channel, and
Okay.
it's not a good movie channel. He's fine.
Okay.
He's more like he's like Star Wars, like pop. He's like a pop culture,
Yeah.
light channel. He's not like your movie sucks. Not like Red Letter Media. Not like those guys who really in depth make movie stuff like critiques or
Yeah.
whatever. He's more like here's some news, here's some rankings, and it's all kind of surface level stuff like you ain't gonna see fucking Italian cinema,
Yeah.
that's not the kind of guy that he is, and that's perfectly
Right.
fine because I'm not like that either. But
Yeah.
also, he's not the guy I'm talking about. I don't remember his name. He was doing his top movies for 2021, and I wanted to mention this on the podcast before we end the episode
Mhm.
because it's the new year. It's
Right.
January 3rd, but
Yes.
2021, with all if everything works out the way it's supposed to work out, should be fucking stacked.
It's pretty stacked. I mean, everything that was supposed to be split between 2020 and 2021 is now
Yeah.
just all in 2021.
And
So
I want to get to that, but real quick, I want to get to that for sure.
yeah.
But in this video, he was like top movies I'm excited for 2021. He mentions Shang Chi, and he's like, "Oh man, no, I'm looking forward to Shang Chi." Which I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm down for Shang Chi. It's not Blade, and I always mention those two together because I want to see Blade. Um,
Yeah.
but
I
okay,
don't know. I mean, if it'll be like a martial arts movie, then like, yeah, I'm fine with that.
well, the guy, Scott Atkins is actually interviewing on his podcast the guy who's doing all the stunt coordination for the movie, and he's a
Okay.
Jackie Chan stunt team member. So
Okay.
I have high hopes for the martial
Down
arts,
for that
right?
then.
But he's like, yeah. This guy was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this movie. I just started watching the show, which has the main actor in it, and he's really good in it. And um, has Aquafina in it. She's really good. And then it showed he had the screenshot of the cast photos of like people who were in the movie as like main characters,
Of Shang-Chi or in the TV
and
show?
Shang Chi. And he
Okay.
says, I'm looking forward to the movie. It has Aquafina in it, and she's really good." And then I've been watching the show of the main guy. The guy has his previous show that he's in, kind of like whatever some sitcom he's in. The main
Okay.
actor. He's like, okay, I'm watching that show to kind of see
Oh, is
how.
he the guy that like is in like off the boat or whatever, or fresh off the boat?
No, he's in a show called Kim's Convenience,
Okay.
which is like a Canadian Asian comedy show about like a
Okay.
Korean family owns a convenience store. I've seen the first season. It's fine.
Okay.
And the guy who's going to play Shang Chi, he's fine.
Okay.
But so he's saying that he's looking forward to the movie because of Aquafina and this guy he doesn't even know.
Right.
But he's watching his previous work of. Okay, fine. But in the same picture of the cash shots, there's a picture in the bottom left, and I kept track in my mind's eye where it was at, of Michelle Yeoh, and
Michelle Yeoh's in Shang-Chi?
he doesn't say her name, and then immediately after that he says, "I'm looking forward to this movie because I grew up with my dad watching old kung fu movies like Jackie Chan stuff," and never says Michelle Yeoh's name. And my girlfriend didn't understand. I was audibly pissed off, like for like 10 minutes, audibly pissed off because if you just didn't say anything about kung fu movies
Right.
and just ignored her, I'd be like, fine, fine. But you're a movie channel, and you're
Yeah.
gonna sit there and say Aquafina before you
Yeah.
say Michelle Yeoh. Kick rocks. Number two, this guy said I like kung fu movies, and you
Yes.
don't say Michelle Yeoh. Who the fuck do you think you are? In what world do you not say Michelle Yeoh fucking first? The only kung fu person on the fucking list.
Yeah.
Literally, like out of all the fucking people in this cast, she is the guy.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna talk about what she's fucking done for martial arts cinema.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off, Zach. It pissed me off so much as someone who adores the genre. And I was
Yes.
like, we're just gonna talk about Aquafina.
I don't understand also everybody's love for Aquafina.
I don't.
I think I
She
saw like
sucks.
one thing with her, and I was just like, eh.
She was in Crazy Rich Asians, I believe. I think she was the worst part of that movie.
I never watched that. I know she's in that other movie that she came out with that is all about like her grandma dying or some shit like that. I can't remember what it's
Oh,
called.
I haven't seen that. I know she's Ocean's 8. I haven't seen that though either.
I haven't seen that either.
But I was very mad. I was just pissed, like unreasonably pissed off because, like, again, like 95% of the world doesn't matter to me, but the
Yeah.
5% of stuff that I like, to sit there and say that you like kung fu movies or martial arts movies and just to not even give her the credit, like to be like,
Yeah.
if I'm looking at a cast list, like for like Mulan,
Hmm.
it wasn't the fact that Mulan, the actress, it's Donnie Yen. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my god, Donnie Yen is in Mulan. Yeah, I want to fucking see Mulan. You
that was
know,
the only reason I wanted to watch it, and I still didn't watch it.
like I'm
But
watching like Rogue One. Oh my god, I don't give a fuck about Felicity, whatever the fuck her name is.
dude, it's
But
fucking Donnie
fucking
Yen, dude.
Donnie Yen's in it. Yeah, I'm watching fucking. He's playing a fucking monk. Yeah, okay.
He's using the Force to like fucking kung fu on some bitches. Hell yeah.
So that I had to tell that story real fast. But before we end the podcast, Zach, 2021 movies. What are
Hmm.
you most looking forward to in the new year in the in the world of cinema, and if you think that we will see them in theaters?
Um, let's see. Top things off the top of my head. You got The Matrix.
Yeah.
You've got Ghostbusters. You've got Godzilla.
Hmm.
Those are the main things I'm thinking off the top of my head. I think maybe Batman is supposed to come out next year, right?
I don't remember honestly. It was
Can't
April
remember. I
maybe.
can't remember if I got pushed back to 2022 or not.
I feel like it did.
Um, so maybe not the Batman. What else is supposed to come out? Black Widow looked kind of fun.
Yeah.
Um, those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Spider
I
Man.
feel like there's other stuff. Oh, Dune. God damn it. Fucking Dune. Number
Dune.
one,
Yeah.
top of the list.
Dune.
Dune. Those are the main things. Godzilla,
Top of
Dune.
your list? What?
Dune's the top of my list,
Not
dude. I'm
Godzilla?
so fucking excited. Godzilla's in the top five.
But not top
Uh,
of your. Wait, what? You're a dinosaur boy.
I am a dinosaur boy, but I'm a Dune boy from a dinosaur boy. Space
That's
fantasy always.
Oh, I don't know about that, bro.
So Dune, Godzilla,
Mortal Kombat.
Ghostbusters, Matrix. Oh my God, there's more. There's more Warner Brothers shit that I'm not
Yeah, it
thinking
was
of.
Mortal Kombat and
Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat.
MK.
And what was it?
I'll say Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. I feel like there's something else too that Warner Brothers is doing. I mean, those are the main things for Warner Bros. I guess you got The Matrix, you got Mortal Kombat, you got Godzilla, you got Dune.
I know Mission Impossible's coming out this year. New one. Space
I know
Jam.
that it's not coming out this year, but Tom Cruise is going up to the International Space Station to film his new movie. I
Yeah.
can't wait for that shit. That's
No,
not Mission Impossible, I'm pretty sure, but
Uncharted's coming out. I know that.
ugh.
Top Gun.
Top Gun, yes. Fuck yeah. Finally some more Top Gun.
Here are my top impromptu five. I have a list on my phone, but the top
Okay.
number one for me is number one for me is Ghostbusters, man.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is up there, man.
Ghostbusters. In the last year of my life, I've come close to death. Now, I've
Sure.
really, really dived into the Ghostbusters comic books, and it's made me really, really, really excited for this next movie. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that. The Matrix, only because I know that it's not going to be good.
Mm.
So I'm looking forward to the Matrix a lot. Fast Nine, because it's the pinnacle of film.
Oh, I forgot that's supposed to come out.
Yep, yep, yep. But you want to know? So there's a couple here, other two on my list. I'm seeing No Time to Die is on here.
Oh yeah, No Time to Die. Yeah, for sure. I do
Morbius.
kind of want to see how much of a train wreck Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be.
Yeah, there's that. But here are my two top movies, honestly, that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Okay.
First one being Snake Eyes.
Is that coming out?
That's coming out this year.
Okay.
And
Okay.
not even because I care about the character or GI Joe all that much. I just don't really. But anytime that we can, now at this point in 2020, 21, 21, excuse me.
Well, hold on.
Uh-huh.
Newsflash. I did not know this was coming out.
Okay.
Zack Snyder's making a new zombie movie?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
It's got Batista in it? Oh shit, dude. That might be up on the list now. That looks like it's gonna be some good fucking schlock.
Yeah, I guess. His last zombie movie was okay.
Yeah, I like his Dawn of the Dead movie. I mean, it's not, it's not. Oh my god.
It's not Romero stuff,
Yeah, it's not Romero's Dawn
but
of the
it's
Dead.
not meant to be.
It's Snyder's Dawn.
Yeah. Snake Eyes, like I'm saying, because
Yes.
it could be an entryway into a big franchise of GI Joe movies, and nothing would have me more
For the
happy.
second time in
Yeah.
a decade.
Nothing would make me happier than a fucking 10-part franchise of GI Joe movies. Or just
Dude, I
fucking,
would love to see, honestly, because I mean, I really like the first two GI Joe movies a lot.
I like the
With,
first one. I like the first one.
I actually really don't remember the second one that much, but the first one's a lot of fun. I like
All they
that
need
one.
to do is at the end of Snake Eyes, Duke shows up and
Show
Scarlet
Channing Tatum
shows
again.
up. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. You can recast. We're recasting.
What?
We're recasting.
I like Channing
We're
Tatum as Duke.
recasting. We're going younger. We're
Okay.
recasting.
So
Or
who's the
or
cast?
if we're not going to go younger, we're going Chris Evans. That's what it is.
I could see him. Yeah, he could be a good
Or
Duke.
Chris Hemsworth. Someone like that.
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah,
He's like younger, isn't he?
I think he's younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get Duke. We get Scarlet. We get Roadblock. And then we start bringing in the fucking random ass characters from the cartoon, the toy line.
Yeah.
We start bringing in the fucking random ass dudes, the mustache dude, the fucking backpack guy.
The mustache
And then
dude.
we just have fucking 10 movies of fucking 13 hours from Michael Bay. Give Michael Bay a movie. We were fucking. I want to see G.I. Joe, like, just some insert
I'd
titles.
like to see Michael Bay G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
See everything exploding.
You start inserting these cool ass titles like G.I. Joe, the Resurgence, G.I. Joe 2, the Comeback, G.I. Joe 3,
The comeback.
Cobra's Revenge, like shit like that. I'm all about. I want that so bad.
If you call G.I. Joe 2 the comeback, you have to have LL Cool J in there.
Oh man, yeah, he'd be good.
Because you can't call it comeback without LL Cool
He's
J.
yoked too, so why not?
He is. He's pretty yoked, man.
But
Dude, also, I forgot about this because this movie's supposed to be coming out. The new Kingsman movie.
That's I was gonna say that's my number one.
Yeah.
That's my number one because it looks so. I rewatched the trailer like a few days ago, because it looks so fucking alternative history type shit, and that's so cool to me. Like the idea that we have like
it's still Matthew Vaughn, right?
Yes, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't wait for that. That's gonna be good.
It makes me want to be like, it's like, hey, if 1917 was on drugs.
Yeah, basically.
You know,
that's what it looks like.
But also the idea of Ralph Fiennes, like whatever Matthew Vaughn does to get these like drama ass motherfuckers.
He's got these old ash stuffy British actors, and he's like, "You're gonna fucking do some cool ass action scenes."
And it looks good. Like it looks good.
He like revitalized the whole career of like, oh my god, what's his name from the first Kingsman? Is like, okay, he's like an
hold on, revitalized.
I mean, he's like not revitalized. That's the wrong word.
He added. I mean, I get what you're saying. He put some.
He turned him into an action star.
He took some air under his wings.
Yeah.
Put some because he's a King's speech and all that kind of shit. But like,
yeah,
he like added an extra layer to his like portfolio.
Yeah.
Like with Ralph, it's like, hey, we know you from Wes Anderson movies and these awesome like super dramatic movies, and now we're gonna put you in this.
You played M.
We're gonna put you in this goofy ass,
Colin Firth. That's what his name is.
Yeah, Colin Firth. Yeah. I think it's really great. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see some more fucking wizard shit. I want to see some.
I want to see some more shit with Rasputin, dude.
Yeah, it's funny because like, very rarely does a franchise that starts in comic book become better in movie.
Yeah.
Dude, Matthew Vaughn just shits on the comic book. It's so much better.
I love it though that he also is like, he can elevate the material beyond comic books, but he's also like, he's solely focused on Millard's work. He's like, I only want to do Millard's stuff.
Yeah.
Or Mark Millar stuff.
Mark Miller. Here's my last few things. If they do come out in 2021, I'm looking forward to Hulk Hogan movie.
Oh yeah, that is supposed to come out.
I don't know when it comes out, but if it's 2021, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin Last Dance docuseries on Netflix. Looking forward to it. Or in general, Vince McMahon docuseries. Looking forward to it. So I'm looking forward to those things in particular. But Kingsman and
Kingsman for sure, yeah.
And Ghostbusters and Snake Eyes and Bond are the big ones. Especially, I mean, Bond, it's the last hurrah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens after No Time to Die if they actually end up going with this lady to be the lead character for future movies. We'll see what happens with that. That'd be fun.
Let's see. I have a feeling that they're gonna not do her. They're gonna end up casting some other black woman to do it.
Why?
I don't know. It feels like, because especially in this movie, I feel like she's not 007. So I feel like no, she's not. She's a different 00, but she's not 007.
I think she's 007. I think that's the whole point, isn't it?
I thought she was just a different 00.
No, I think the point is that when she says I'm the new 007, it's because she took James's designation.
I didn't think.
That's how I took
I thought
it.
she just said I'm the new 00.
I think it was she's new 007, I think.
I have to rewatch the trailer again.
I think it was like the point, like, that from what her article being like, oh, I'm the new character and all that kind of stuff.
I definitely got the feeling that she's like, yeah, I'm the new hot shit, but I didn't know if she was like,
I took it as
I'm
like
007 or if I'm just the new 00.
I think I took the whole like her whole interview thing by being like, oh, I'm taking this character and all kind of thing, is that she's the new 007, which means that she's the new, because the franchise is called 007, right? So it's like
Right.
that she's the new lead. Like, it won't be new Bond, so we're gonna give you the out there by not casting Bond as a lady, but we'll cast a new 007, and that's our way to get around not having Bond be a girl, because Bond's still a guy, but we have a new 007.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
that's
fine
how I
with
took
that
it.
aspect of it, but
So in my
yeah,
mind,
we'll see.
In my mind, it's like, okay, this movie is over. Next movie, it's gonna be 007, the comeback, and it's fucking, whatever her name is, this lady.
Yeah.
Even though Pennyworth is still there and she should be fine as.
Yeah, I would rather see Pennyworth, honestly.
Because I thought she was really good in the
or
last.
Moneypenny.
Pennyworth is fucking.
She was good in Skyfall.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Zach, anything else you want to mention before we end the podcast?
No, that's basically it.
Well, guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you back next week with our next episode, and maybe we'll talk about our next month, our next theme next month.
Yes.
So, thanks, guys, and
Appreciate
see ya.
it. See you guys.